All right. Hello and welcome to the second episode of the second episode of Jan's Got a Pod, a podcast dedicated to the films of actor, writer, director, and musician Thomas Jane. I said Jane's Got a Pod.
Yeah, I was about to call you out on that.
Yeah, sorry. Tonight's episode is 1999's Deep Blue Sea, the film where Thomas Jane swam alongside an actual shark only after all his other scenes were done filming.
That's really?
Yeah, that's the only way. That would be
like, did he ask to do it, and then did they actually use it in the movie, or what?
I don't know the context, but yeah, we'll get to where I think it is. But yeah, they're like, hey, all your other scenes are done, so if you fucking die,
do you want to jump in?
Yeah, jump in. Okay, so as you already hear his smooth voice, here to discuss this flick is
Gary Davis.
Okay, excuse the dogs once again. The studio is currently at my parents' basement, so. Okay, so Deep Blue...
He doesn't live down here, though.
No, not yet. Deep Blue Sea was released August 1st, 1999 with a budget of $60 million and a total box office gross of $73,648,000. So if you consider the production budget of $60,000, you have to double that, or $60 million.
I was going to say $60,000.
$60 million. God, I'm really bad. Talking is hard. With a budget of $60 million, so you double that for, rule of thumb is you double that for marketing, so 120. They only, domestically, they only made 73, so not really.
Wasn't really
a hit. But worldwide gross was 164 million.
What came out around this time that like would have knocked it off, or was it just people didn't think this movie was great?
You know what? I will go to Google real quick.
We will look that up. Because, like, I was trying to think of, like, what you said, 99, August 99. I mean, maybe people were just freaked out about Y2K enough that they're like, I don't have time to watch a movie. I gotta be thinking about Y2K, you know? Then when all the planes are going to fall out of the air and we're all going to die. And then we didn't.
Were you into Y2K? Were you a Y2K guy?
Well, I was 10, so...
How old was I?
I mean, I had that like fear of like well, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I thought it was all BS, but I remember like in school them changing all the stuff at the school so the school computers didn't shut down. But I was like, well, I don't really care if the school ones shut down. What about the ones that make planes fly and stuff like that? Is that gonna be a problem? And then it wasn't. Nothing happened basically.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Movies released in August of 1999. Present company excluded.
Yeah.
Okay. Iron Giant, August 4th.
The animated one?
The animated, yep.
Huh.
What other one would it be?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
This one could have been competition for it. August 6th was The Sixth Sense.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Do you remember this one, Mystery Men?
No.
That was Ben Affleck, Pee Wee Herman. Not Ben Affleck, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller also plays a really good Batman.
Yes, he does. Is that one where they were superheroes but they had like really stupid powers and stuff?
No.
One was called like the Shoveler because he had a shovel.
That sounds like a good movie.
Yeah. Sorry.
No? All right.
August 13th was Detroit Rock City.
About Kiss?
I think it's about going to see Kiss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then we got Dick. That movie where they go see Dick.
Mm-hmm.
The President.
Yeah.
Okay. August 13th was Bowfinger, the Steve Martin.
Yep, I remember that one. Where he's like a secret agent kind of thing.
No. Bowfinger is one. They're trying to make that movie, but he can't get permission to do anything or use actors he wants to use. So he just he's just like, okay. So he sees an actor coming out of the building. So he tells his crew, they're like, okay, she is so method. She's not even going to acknowledge that we're acting. We're going to say action. And when she comes out of the building, you just do your part.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I never heard of this one. August 13th was Better Than Chocolate.
No, I don't remember that.
Mickey Blue Eyes with the British guy that got caught with a tranny. Hugh Grant.
I'm not up on my trainee news.
You were a liar. And then finally, Brendan Fraser, August 27th, Dudley Do Right.
Oh, okay.
So
not a lot of competition other than Sixth Sense, which I'm sure that was like knocking stuff out of the park.
Iron Giant was a sleeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. I still never seen it.
Well, clearly Dick wins over everything.
Yeah, so exactly.
Okay.
It always does.
So anyway, worldwide gross, it made its budget back enough to get a sequel, but I think the sequel came out last year or the year before. So
really, it took that long for the sequel to come out.
Yeah. Here, I'll look it up real quick.
Was Thomas Jane in that too?
No.
Like no one from the original cast is on it.
No, I don't even think it's the same plot. I think
how it's like it's enough to get a sequel, and then it's like 14 years later.
I think it's just the cash in on the title.
Really? All right. Yeah. That's is it kind of like the Cloverfield thing where they had to take the money to make Cloverfield and have it a Cloverfield movie, but they basically made it nothing like Cloverfield until like the end.
10 Cloverfield Lane? No, that's not how that worked.
Oh, I thought that's how someone told me that's how that worked.
Okay, so you remember the plot to the movie we're getting ready to discuss, okay?
Yeah.
So 2018, so almost 10 years. No, wait. I don't do math. Almost 20 years. Thank you. Almost 20 years later, we get a sequel. A brilliant billionaire named Carl Durant is experimenting on bull sharks, which soon rebel to cause havoc for a group of scientists.
So basically just like the first movie.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got no returning. Well, I mean, Thomas Jane and LL Cool J could literally be the only returning characters.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, well, that's true. You can't have the other one.
Yeah,
unless it was a prequel.
Yeah. Oh, prequel.
That'd been sweet.
It sits at a 3.3 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. We may just watch. Me and you just may watch this for fun.
Yeah, I think so.
Not everything has to be done for a podcast,
come on,
Gary.
Yeah, it's not all work.
No,
get back and relax.
I don't have many friends, but people are like, you want to hang out? Is it for a podcast, Adam, or we actually?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He tricks you into doing a podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so
he told me there'd be pizza here tonight.
Did I really?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I've used that live before, so I wasn't sure.
Here's your Jack's Pizzas.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's got a cumulative. Thank you.
Yep.
Worldwide gross of 164 million. It sits at 59% on the tomato meter, and 38% of the audience score.
We're talking about Deep Blue Sea 1.
Deep Blue Sea 1, the Ridge.
The Ridge.
The 38% of the audience score Rotten Tomatoes, and 5.8 out of 10 at Internet Movie Database. Does Rotten Tomatoes mean anything to you?
No, not really.
No. Well,
well, okay, so here's the thing. I try not to watch movie trailers for the most part because I feel like they give too much away. That's one thing.
Yeah,
and then,
okay.
Two, I kind of don't like movies that are popular anyway. Like, I'm weird like that.
Yeah, you're a hipster.
Yeah.
I get accused of being a hipster.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm really like, Adam made me watch The Dark Knight eventually, and I was like, I don't want to see it. This movie sucks. Then I watched it, I was like, that's actually really cool.
Yes.
So,
and Inception took you forever.
I still haven't seen that.
I thought you said you saw Inception.
You won't let me borrow it, so.
Wait, that's Christmas. Was it Dark Knight Rises? No, you saw Inception.
No, I didn't. I've never seen Inception. We saw Dark Knight Rises at your house one time. But I've never seen Inception.
Okay, all right. Anyway. I'm sorry. Okay. So, well, there was like wasn't there like recently, like in the last couple of weeks, wasn't there like a controversy over Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, like they
Trolls or something, right?
They took off the pre-reviews for the new was it Captain Marvel? They took off the pre-reviews of that because of internet trolls. They didn't want people to like slant it and be like anti-feminist and stuff like that. So they shut down the pre-reviews of it. Which, why would you have pre-reviews in the first place? No one's seen it.
Why would anyone give a shit?
Yeah. Why do you care what other people think about a movie?
Yeah,
just watch it for yourself.
Yeah, I mean,
you think we would have watched Dark Country if it would have based off the ratings? No.
Well, I would have.
It was a great movie.
No,
it wasn't a great movie.
But like, okay, so like me and you, we're friends. Yeah. We clearly don't like the same crap. I'll be like, hey, Gary, you want to see this movie? You'll go, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm still going to go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
who cares? Well, it's like, oh, Gary don't want to go see it. I'm not going to go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Do your own thing.
Let me jump off my soapbox here and we'll get back down. Okay. Gary, as I wrote here, you stated that you've seen this one before I approached you for the podcast. What drew you to the flick?
Well, it definitely wouldn't have been seeing it when it first came out because at 10, I'm pretty sure I was still scared of movies shows like Scooby Doo. So
Really?
Yeah.
Like the original 60s?
Yeah, my sister was really into Scooby Doo, and I used to be scared of it.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
So I don't know what made me watch it the first time. It must have been like someone else making me watch it. That's the only thing I can think of. Because there's just I don't think I would have picked that one out. I feel like I'm going to say that a lot on this podcast. I don't feel like I would put that one out.
I should subtitle this episode 2. Is this legit? Because I put a lot of like in the script.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you questions where something happens in the movie. I'm going to be like, is this legit? Like, is this what would happen?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. Because I actually took notes this time.
Oh, okay.
Of things that definitely wouldn't happen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. Now, so we're gonna do we're gonna go through the movie. So spoilers if you haven't seen it. Plus, if you haven't seen Deep Blue Sea for fun,
come on, it's 20 years old.
Now we're gonna pick it apart. Not because we're cynical or asshole. Well, we are cynical and assholes, but
because we have nothing better to
do. I genuinely like this movie. We'll get to the rating later, but I'm just going to pick it apart just because I love the movie. And I mean, it's just pure cinema. It's fun. It's not meant to be realistic, but still, just to pick it apart. Mm-hmm. So, spoilers. Okay, so Deep Blue Sea. The flick opens on an aerial shot looking down on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It begins to push in. The more it pushes in, the boat looks really fake to me. Okay, so first question. On the boat, there are two couples drinking and partying. Okay. Yeah. First off, how far into the ocean are they?
Well, this is weird. I actually looked in the background. You can actually see lights in the background. So I guess they're not too far because you can see lights on land.
So, okay, so they're not that far off the coast.
Yeah.
So they've got...
You're already worried about the waves, aren't you?
Well, you know how much I hate. Okay, so that answers one thing. Second, is it smart or safe to be in the... Well, I guess they're not in the middle now that I know. But is it smart or safe to be even that far out in the ocean where everyone on board is drinking and it's nighttime?
Well, no, but they're like 17-year-old kids, 21-year-old kids.
They better be 21.
They better be 21.
They have video evidence that they're drinking under.
I mean, no, but a lot of people don't do safe things. So...
Yeah, but do you know, I would have a life vest on.
Yeah, because we're like responsible. I'd be freaked out too. But I would be the guy sitting in the corner, like at the bottom of the boat, be like, "We need to go. We're gonna get busted by the cops." Or
I don't care.
We're just not the kind of kids who would ever go to. I would
never be on the ocean in the middle of the night because I'm afraid of it during the daytime. You would have to tranquilize me with one of those harpoons that Thomas Jane shoots because there's no effing way you're getting me in the ocean at night. Okay. I wrote down on my notes here, if that scene was remade today, the girls would be topless and they'd be smoking pot, not drinking wine.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
I wrote down, I don't know if you noticed this, the girl in the orange bikini, I don't know if you can put pictures in this, but the girl in the orange bikini, I thought was Selma Hayek. And I thought she was actually in the movie before. It's not.
Her boobs were way too small to be Selma Hayek.
Really?
Selma Hayek, oh yeah, she's got like double D's, man.
Okay.
Not to be a pervert.
But that's what I actually wrote that down, Selma Hayek in orange bikini. ? And then I had to look it up and it wasn't.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Let me scroll down here. Okay. We get some classic shark stalker POV shots and what I have dubbed Sharkovision.
Sharkovision.
That's not really how sharks would see, right?
No, because the shark's eyes aren't on its nose. That's the thing that gets me in the several parts of this movie, where it's like looking right out the front, which I know it's like a camera, but the shark's eyes are on its side, so it would like have to turn and see you, and then turn and see you the other way.
What if we were only looking?
And actually, it doesn't even use its. I don't feel like it uses its sight a whole lot.
Yeah, aren't they
it's more
like
its senses? Yeah.
Like heat.
Well, not
right?
heat.
Well,
but
like don't they have? Don't they see like thermally?
I don't know about that. Like the Predator. They're like the Predator in the ocean.
Is that what I'm confused? Am I confusing sharks with the Predator?
Yes.
God, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Confuses a lot of things.
The shark breaks through the bottom of the boat.
Hold on. Back up a second. I wrote down them dumping wine in the water, which made it look like blood, and apparently that attracted the shark.
No. I watched
like when the bottle spills.
Yeah, I know. I watched that with another buddy, and he said the same thing. I just took it as like a visual metaphor.
It's supposed to be like blood, blood's going to be in the water.
Yeah, it's just like a visual metaphor. I don't think it's meant to be the shark sees this. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is clearly blood.
Yeah,
this dude is drunk off his ass.
Yeah.
That's just how I took it.
I took it as sharks just sense all things that are red in this universe, not just blood.
Oh, the Deep Blue Sea verse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deep Blue Sea verse.
The shark breaks through the bottom of the boat, knocking the couples into the water. If I was the Selma Hayek lady, and I found myself knocked into the water with a giant shark, I'd be pissed off.
Because he knocks her in the water.
Yeah, because the only reason I'm in the water is my jackass date has, knocks me into the water.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed off.
I mean, we're talking about, like, besides the fact there's a shark in the water, if she's, like, knocked out, concussed, like, someone needs to, like, get in there and save her.
So, okay. So, this is clearly the first shot of the sharks we see. It's pretty legit, right? I mean, it's
like, I thought they were,
I mean, they did build animatronic sharks. The animatronic sharks that they built were...
You could definitely tell later.
Were so... Well, that was CG.
Oh, okay.
But they built practical sharks. And according to Samuel Jackson and... I can't ever say his name. Stellan Skarsgård. He's the dude who gets his arm bitten off. Mm-hmm. He actually thought they were the actual... Because they had some sharks on set, and they thought they were the real... Sure.
Really?
I don't know if that was just hype for the movie.
Yeah.
But that's what they claim.
Huh.
But I thought that was a pretty good looking shark.
Yeah.
It goes downhill quick from there.
Yeah.
But so the shark breaches the boat, and then instead of just grabbing the guys, because they're literally just right next to the boat, he swims away so he can taunt them like a serial killer movie.
Yeah.
A slasher movie. So you can get that classic fin shot.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't want to nitpick the movie because I really love the movie. It's just I'm nitpicking it because of love. That's all. I want people.
I want it to be better.
So anyway, I really like the shot of one of the couples are trying to get back on board, and they're like pulling on one of the ropes, which I guess is what would that rope? Oh, the tie off from the dock.
Yeah.
And as they're pulling it up, they pan up and see that there's like a bunch of excess rope up there. I thought that was a cool gilding the lily shot as the shark is approaching. And then just as the shark is about to munch down, it gets harpooned, and we get the badass intro to Thomas Jane's character, Carter Blake.
Who reminds me, it's like he's the Crocodile Dundee of the sea.
Do you think that's why he went blonde?
Okay. Yeah. Or like the Steve Irwin of the sea.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I took it as.
So do you think that's why he's
Steve Irwin. C. Irwin.
You know who else? You know who? What birthday Steve Irwin has?
What?
February 22nd. You know who else was born on February 22nd?
Who?
Me and Thomas Jane.
That's right.
That's no joke. That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Strange.
So anyway, badass intro. Was that a practical? I mean, I guess there was no other options. I
don't think I don't know. Would the shark hit your boat like that? I don't know. Or like just jump up through the middle?
Well, I mean, they are genetically altered sharks, but I wouldn't think. I'm only an amateur sharkologist, Gary, but I would say
amateur. I dabble in sharks.
I would say that if you're only because I think they said later that they have a 12-foot tiger shark that he gets a license plate out of. If you're only,
I think that's the same shark as.
It wasn't one of the gins.
No, I think it was. But remember when they go into showing the pens, they show like this is the Gen 1 sharks. I think that's one of the ones that got out. Right.
But what I'm saying is, like an actual shark, if you're only this big and you see something bigger, you're not going to.
Well, like with almost all animals, they go for the easy targets. So they're not going to go try and take down like a big boat. They're going to go try and attack like the easy like fish that's already injured, or like like baby seals on top of the ocean.
Gary, there's wine in the water.
That's true.
He's clearly drunk.
He wanted to get drunk. The shark is drunk. Yeah, the shark wanted to get wicked drunk.
He came up and was like, "It's time to get crunk, bitches."
Let's go, okay. Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Okay. So
he just wanted to party. Jump scares.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's what he's all about. So yeah.
Okay, done with that scene. Moving on. Okay, so now we move on to the board.
The only thing I'll say on that scene is, where the hell did he come from? That he's just like so like, and the scene where it ends and like he shoots it and drags it back and everything like that. He looks like he's so like nonchalant. Like normally you'd be like, "Hey, hold on, guys, I'll shoot him," and not just like, "I got him."
That's how cool Carter Blake is, man. Plus, that was my question. So, well, you kind of answered it because they're not. I guess they're not that far
from the
from the coastline.
Well,
but how far from the
here's the thing.
Far
here's
from the sea lab are they?
Yeah, because remember they showed the map of the sea lab, and it's like way off the coast.
Yeah,
like
and in the aerial shot, you can't see
where are
shit.
they?
Yeah.
Did this shark get like way away?
Yeah.
And do they have like a GPS tracker that he knows exactly where it's at?
Yeah.
And why didn't he catch it sooner? So many questions.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah.
Maybe
who directed this?
Rennie Harlan.
Who wrote it?
Some dude.
That
also wrote Deep Blue Sea too.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So after that, we get the board meeting scene.
They should have called it Deep 2C.
Deep 2C.
Yeah. Is it like Deep Blue Sea 2?
Or why if they put deep and then instead of B put the T or put the 2
yeah.
LUE?
Yeah. Probably wasn't even worth spending all that time on that.
Yeah, I know it. Okay. The opening is followed by the board meeting scene. We are introduced to our female protagonists, Saffron Burrows, Dr. Susan McAllister, and Samuel L. Jackson's Russell Franklin. I wrote down here, McAllister is wearing a very 90s female suit jacket skirt combo.
I actually was going to bring this up later because there's one scene where it's like, it's funny to see old movies like this. Like in the time, it probably wasn't that weird.
Yeah.
But then like you see it later and it's so dated.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's the baggy, it's the super baggy pantsuit.
It's ill-fitting and it's just like draped across her shoulders.
Yeah. Like it hasn't been tailored at all.
Yeah, no.
Like I forgot, like remember when, well, you probably don't remember, but like when baggy suits used to be like the thing.
Zoot suits?
Well, no, like
before that?
Well, I'm saying like 80s, like business suits were all like super baggy.
Oh yeah, and shoulder pads, and shit,
all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a bad
Let's
time.
not bring that back ever.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if we're still recording good. I'm paranoid. Okay, we also hear the main reason for the experimenting on the sharks. Sharks don't get cancer, so they think they are the key to curing Alzheimer's.
Not exactly.
I'm going to mispronounce that.
No, it's that they don't get cancer. They don't get Alzheimer's. And there's like two other things they mentioned that they don't get. So they're basically like this anomaly, which is not exactly true. There's some types of sharks that they don't think get cancer.
Right.
Or if they do, it doesn't affect them and kill them in the way it does us.
Well, okay, so Rennie Harlan, you bring that up as the director. He, on the director's commentary, he mentions this because this movie gets a lot of flack for scientifically inaccuracies of sharks. But on the director's commentary, he claims he did a bunch of research on sharks. Mm-hmm. And at the time of the movie, the research stated that these sharks don't get cancer and they don't sleep. And he goes, now, at the time of me doing the commentary, this scientific knowledge is no longer viable, and it is inaccurate. But at the time we were making this movie, that was...
Well, it's like space movies back in the 50s. Like, if you go back and watch space movies now, from back in the 50s, you're like, oh, God, look at the dumb stuff they thought happened. But that was before they knew there was, like, stuff burned up in the atmosphere, and you had to develop like this, and you couldn't land on planets like the way you thought you could. It's just bizarre to see those movies now and what they thought space was like.
Yeah.
But then knowing now that it's completely different, same kind of thing.
What is something now we could make a movie on that we just guess
that we had like no idea about?
Yeah. The bottom of the no, we pretty much we know more about space and the bottom of the ocean, but
like maybe like the inside of planets, like the inside of Jupiter. What's it like on the inside, or like
green.
What's it like on the inside of exactly, or like what if we were able to terraform Venus or something like that?
And then in like 2 years from now,
and we're like, we don't know what this would look like. Yeah. It's all purple there, and then you come and then like boom, they're like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah, it's green, you dumbasses.
It's just plant some trees.
The company. Okay, so the company hasn't seen any results. So Russell Franklin is being sent to the lab to check it out.
And it sounds like they're cutting off funding.
Yes, because right.
Yeah.
Which have you seen the Meg? That's kind of a little bit of the plot.
I've not seen the Meg.
Oh,
really?
Okay. Well, never mind then.
Like they're going to cut off the funding to that?
Yeah. Well, the owner, who's the Rainn Wilson's character, who's giving them billions of dollars for this, has to visit the Sea Lab.
I wonder where they got that idea from.
This movie.
Exactly.
I wrote down nice wig on Samuel L. Jackson. Look. Good.
I don't think it was. Do you think I think he grew it out? Didn't he?
No, he's bald, isn't he? I thought he was bald.
No, he's not. He wasn't bald in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it was a wig.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was a wig. Okay. Nice wig then.
I had to look him up because he looked familiar, but I thought it was weird. We also see a white dude that sits on the desk.
Yeah.
Doesn't say a damn word. Just sits there and stares at. That's Franklin's boss. He's credited as Franklin's boss. He's played by Ronnie Cox. He's the head of Omnicorp in RoboCop.
Yes, that's why you look familiar.
That is a weird get. Why would you get that guy just to sit there?
Yeah, he's like So he did say stuff, didn't he?
No, he didn't say a single word.
Wow,
no. What was that about?
That's it. Maybe they needed like a typical big bad business guy. Yeah. And like, let's get the guy from RoboCop because that's the typical big bad business movie.
Maybe it's 1999. We weren't as racially advanced as we are. Maybe they're like, we can't. The all mass audience. The Ku Klux Klan members won't accept a black guy.
They won't come watch our movie.
Yeah.
Little do they know those people aren't watching movies anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, any more about that scene before we move on? Okay, so the next section I put intro to the Aquatica, parentheses, C-Lab 2021.
You know what I liked about this scene is it's basically almost like the beginning of Jurassic Park when they let's take a helicopter out to this place.
Yeah. I also put parentheses exposition diarrhea because it's just exposition after exposition after
all the stuff. They're like, this is an old World War II base. Blah blah blah. And they're telling
I brought something up about. I'll get that here for a second. So the airplane's flying in.
Helicopter.
No, it's an airplane.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is an airplane.
Here we get exposition on Samuel Jackson's character about the Alps.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I like how they're like Himalayas. And he's like, it was the Alps. And
he's
just like, those are two completely separate mountain chains. Like, he climbed the Rockies. No, it was the Appalachians.
It seems like a realistic conversation because that seemed like something.
But he's talking to a scientist. Right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I was like a weird. Yeah, I know what you mean. No. So then we land where we get to tour the C-Lab. Plus we get our remaining.
Samuel Jackson starts talking about this World War II base thing that they converted and everything like that on the right end. Wouldn't he know that? Like if he's part of the group that's paying for the project, it's like that's why it's exposition diarrhea. You're telling things to people who already know more about it than you do. But
I'm kind of okay with that because he comes in and he's greeted by Blondie. That is, God, I have her name here. Janice Higgins. She's played by Jacqueline McKenzie. She like the tour guide. And he's like. He's like, just treat me like a tourist. So maybe he knows, but he's just letting test it. I don't know.
He's seeing if she's worth her job.
It's probably
how much do you know about this lab?
It's probably honestly, like you say, it's probably just a writer. Fuck, it's gonna sound stupid. Yeah. Just treat me like a tourist. So,
exactly. How would you explain to this guy who already knows everything about the business? Just treat me like a tourist. Perfect.
But okay, so I felt like back in the airplane, I felt like they were setting Samuel L. Jackson up to be the hero because they talk about how he survived this.
Right.
And we'll talk about later what happens, but he's clearly not the hero. So then we meet the Aquatica. It's a refurbished and retrofitted World War II submarine loading structure. Is that
tender?
Is that legit?
It's a submarine tender. So like they had it out in the ocean on this like shallow-ish part, and they would take and fuel up submarines there, so they didn't have to bring them all the way into base and all the way back out. So they'd fuel them up there out in the middle of the ocean, and hopefully no one knew where it was at. So like they could go tender. Now actually, in real life, most of them were mobile. Like they were actually ships that the submarines would come up beside. They would hook them up, pull them a little bit out of the water, fuel them up, reload them, put like new ammo, new provisions, all that stuff, and then drop them.
Okay.
So they're like these tender things. And actually, I think they still existed either they still exist or they existed for a very long time and now are starting to be like useless because like subs can just go for a long time now. But they would basically be like your thing to like, this is where you refuel it so you don't have to go all the way back to base.
So only the top structure was the loading. Everything else below the water was...
Well, the below the water would be like where you'd pull the subs in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if that was legit or not.
I don't know if this one's legit or not. Like what they have, I'm guessing it probably was, but a lot of the other ones would have been mobile. Like the actual other ships, they just refit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we get a cool scene of Carter removing a license plate from a 12-foot tiger shark.
Mm-hmm.
This I think is the scene where he swam next to the shark. because the shark looks real up until there is one little CGI part, but you see him holding on to surely that's probably just a shark kept in captivity all of its
Yeah, I would.
Not that it matters, because I mean, wild animal is a wild animal.
But there's some wild animals that, like, if they're well fed, they're usually okay. Like, the only reason they go aggressive and attack humans is because they're like really hungry sometimes,
right.
Or you're just like in its space, right?
Or it's in the script.
Usually when it's in the script.
Yeah.
But like bears, or not. Well, I guess bears, but like other animals too. Like, if they're not hungry, they basically don't give a shit that you're there.
Yeah, because they don't have like human nature. Human nature
Yeah.
is like, I'm gonna fucking beat you up because you looked at me funny.
Yeah.
Animals don't give a shit.
They're like, I don't care. Now they will get territorial, like if another.
Right.
But yeah.
The scene's badass. It shows Carter doing his shark foo.
Yeah.
Or shark gymnastics.
Yep.
Cool. But that clearly is not practical, right? There's got to be an easier way to get
I wouldn't
that
think you'd be able to flip in the water faster than a shark would.
Right. But couldn't you just grab the license plate when it was up in the harness?
Yeah, that's. I don't know why they.
That was an easier way, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, and plus, okay, so when they go into the exposition about how it got the harness or like the license plate in its mouth, anyway, I have no idea what happened there. Like, I don't get it. Like when he's like, "Oh, it's something from the license plates from Louisiana.
Right.
It must have got like into this and blah 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 blah." I have no idea what they were talking about. I missed that whole.
Oh, he was being sarcastic because Burroughs' character's walking by and he throws up on the deck and she goes, "Louisiana," and he goes, "Yeah, I got a theory that he was bought in a pet shop and the owner couldn't handle it, flushed him down the toilet, and then swum out through the Gulf and blood, etc."
Yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah, that was just sarcastic. Now I want to bring this up. He gets up out of the water, fucking ripped, dude.
No shirt. And I thought he had no leg. I thought he was missing a leg. Like that was going to be part of the plot.
Really?
Because when he gets up out of the water, one of his legs is behind the other one.
No, you're thinking of The Rock and Skyscraper. You're confusing those.
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, don't worry about
it. But it looked like he was like one legged. I figured like this is going to be more exposition diarrhea of like, yeah, he lost his leg to a shark, and he said it never happened again.
He's still after the shark.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, okay. So anyway, he gets up out of the water, man, and
he's jacked.
This is the difference between movie making back then and movie making now. So he's jacked. Any guy today would be just would give $1 million, give their fucking leg to have that body, right?
No, I wouldn't.
He's got hair on his chest, whatever. Yeah. If that film was shot today, that they'd have to be jacked like Captain America.
Yeah.
Or
even bulkier.
Or The Rock. Yeah, just hugely jacked. They'd be clean shaven, no hair, anywhere and stuff. So, I don't know why I got off on that tangent.
Well, this was a extra scene for Adam. He liked to do some extra stuff in the background.
I got off on a tangent on that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, after the shirtless scene, we are introduced to the gins. I wrote 800 pound, but they're 8,000 pound genetically.
8,000 pounds?
Yeah, 8,000 pounds.
Dang.
They are 8,000 pound genetically altered mako sharks because sharks don't get cancer. So they altered the genetics to create bigger brains to allow for more protein to fight Alzheimer's.
But they don't mention the bigger brains until later, right?
Right, yeah. Is that legit? Is that legit science or like?
Oh, no, I think it's totally
science?
made up. Yeah, I think it's totally made up.
Because you can't give yourself bigger brains, right? I mean, you can't like genetically.
Well, I think you probably could genetically alter gene structure, but I think like not only would you have to make it have a bigger brain, but you'd also have to make it more space on its head for a bigger brain and everything like that.
Well, that's why they're 8,000 pounds.
Oh, they're just bigger sharks.
Bigger head case.
Yeah, exactly. Brain case.
Okay, so then as we continue the exposition dump, we get into McAllister's room where she's running through the procedure on the dummy, on the model.
Is that before they do the thing with Thomas Jane being a dick to Samuel L. Jackson's character?
Oh, down in the maintenance shop?
No, like when he gets out of the water and he's like...
Oh, no, that's after. So, yeah, he goes... He kind of had... He's not that much of a dick.
But he's like the typical, like, I'm a cool... This is like such a 90s movie when they're like, I'm this cool, badass, ripped dude. I don't like corporations. I hate them.
He's the hipster before a hipster.
Basically, like the model for hipsters.
So basically, it's like the average dude versus the well-educated, rich guy.
Exactly. Yeah, rich guy with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Here's the dumb guy who.
But he wasn't that big of a jerk. He was like, "Look, man, don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you." Type.
Yeah, exactly. And someone's like, "That's the most he's talked in weeks."
yeah. Usually you just get head nod.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so after that scene, while the exposition dump's still going on, we see Dr. McAllister and Stellan Skarsgård's character. They're inside McAllister's room, and they're kind of going over the procedure. She's got that dummy, that model that comes into play later. And he's like, "Look, we can't do this. We're rushing the procedure. We're not quite ready yet." And she's like, "We don't have a choice."
Yeah.
Type thing. So we're more exposition dump.
Yeah.
Then we have a surprise birthday party for Dr. McAllister. This is pretty much where we've met all the characters. We meet Janice Higgins, played by Jacqueline McKenzie. She was in the 4400 TV show. Tom Scoggins, played by Michael Rapaport.
Yep.
He was in The War at Home or Metro.
And he was a couple TV shows in the early 2000s too.
The War at Home was a TV show.
Oh, that was the one?
sitcom,
okay.
yeah. Jim Whitlock, played by Stellan Skarsgård. He was the teacher from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
Or as I know him as True Blood's dad. He's the blonde-headed dad. He the actor that's in True Blood. Okay, thank you.
We got it.
Preacher, played by LL Cool J. He's in NCIS Los Angeles.
And a famous rapper.
Yeah.
The thing I love when they bring in him and his parrot, which is funny, because you always got to have it's like every movie's got to have like the slapstick comedian thing like that.
Yeah.
But he does a good job in the role. The thing that cracked me up is he didn't even use his own they didn't use his own songs in the movie, which I guess that would have been weird because in the
at the end of
later
the movie,
they do.
yeah,
but I'm
right.
saying during the movie they don't.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, but actually. Funny note on this, actually watched through the credits thinking there was something else. There wasn't. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Jerk.
I'll let you know from now on.
Yeah. He was the executive producer, or not, he was the guy who basically supervised all the music selections.
No.
So that's what, yeah.
Well,
so that's why it's got a hip hop, all the hip hop scenes are
No,
there.
really?
Yeah, he was the guy who supervised having all the music there.
Well, then I got a question about that later. Then
okay.
It's at the birthday party actually.
Yeah.
Let me get back to my script here. Okay, and then finally we meet Brenda Kearns, played by Ada Turturro. She's the lady up in the tower.
I've seen her in other stuff too.
She is Mrs. Soprano in Sopranos, Janice Soprano.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of the Sopranos, but
lest we not forget the parrot, who is voiced by many actors, including the director and the ever-talented Frank Welker.
Yeah. What's he from?
I think he's Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
Plus,
yeah.
Well, that was James Cagney.
Okay, all right.
I think.
Here's looking at you, kid. That wasn't James Cagney either, was it?
No, that was James Cagney.
Oh, was it? All right. Nailed it.
Okay. All right, so that brings me up to the birthday party scene. You said LL Cool J was in charge of the music, right?
Yes.
So LL is bartending, and then a hip hop song comes on, and Mrs. Soprano is like, "Oh, I love this song. Don't you love this song, Preacher?" And he's like, "I hate this song." So he's a famous rapper. So is that a shot at one of his opponents?
No, I think he was just messing with him because he has a record label. And I think a few of these people who are in this are on his record label.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's a good. We should look that up though and double check though. The thing I wrote out of this was: do they dance to actual music in scenes like this? Do they actually play music and have them dance to it and then dub it over later with the actual music?
Typically they don't play music if you're shooting a party scene,
yeah,
and it's just a party scene,
yeah,
there's no talking, it's just camera moving through it. They may play music. They may play music just so the extras have a sense of what they're doing.
Beat.
Now, if they know what song they're going to use, they'll play the actual song.
Yes.
Or they'll play a song close to the song if they want to get.
Yeah.
But if there's dialogue going on,
so they're actually doing a lot of this song selection stuff in post, right?
Typically, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on the writer director. Some directors, like Quentin Tarantino, he goes into it. And or Simon Edgar Wright when he did Baby Driver.
Mm-hmm.
When he was writing the movie, he's like, this song will be played here. This song will be played
But that
here.
normally doesn't happen.
No.
And so, what do they do in instances where there is dialogue?
So when there is dialogue, they'll say they may play a sample of the song, so the extras and the actors know what kind of if it's a slow song or whatever. And then they won't play a song, they'll say action, and they just kind of dance to the song playing. And then if it's a loud rave and two actors have to be talking to each other, they'll just be yelling at each other. So if you actually watch behind the scenes, they'll be really quiet, and you'll just hear feet shuffling.
Yelling at each other?
and then
Wow.
yelling at each other. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wrote down in this, the reason I wanted to ask that is because they act like they're dancing to actual music, and it does not look like that. Like it's like the typical, like this should be an example of white people dancing, because like there's the black guy there, LL Cool J, like sitting there doing his thing, bartending and everything like that. And there's a bunch of white people dancing to rap music and had no idea how to keep up with the beat or anything like that.
Okay. Speaking of white people dancing, there's also a very classic '90s type line that I don't feel is said anymore, where he's talking to Samuel L. Jackson's character about climbing up the. He's like, "Aren't you the dude that climbed up the mountain?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm that dude." He goes, "Don't black folk have enough ways to die besides climbing up a mountain? Leave that to the white people."
Yeah.
Very '90s.
Yes.
I don't think you would hear that in the movie.
Not too much.
Unless it was like a trashy dick
like
and fart
Dynamite.
joke to. Okay. So we see Thomas Jane's character Carter roll up in a nice, sexy, just average Joe, just denim shirt, unbuttoned all the way down, except for 2 buttons.
This is turning very.
And khaki pants.
You analyze. I like how for Saffron Burrows' character, he's like, yeah, she's wearing a pantsuit. But him, you go into gross detail about his ripped abs.
No, I'm a little jealous, man, because I talk about it on the commentary I did for. But I'm a little jealous because you know me, man. I'm layered.
Yeah.
My collars are super tight around my neck.
Yeah, you wear 6 layers of clothes.
Yeah, I'm only wearing one today though.
I know, it's surprising.
Yeah. I wish I could just. Flow in, just put a button down up on, no undershirt, and just rock it
loose.
Yeah, man.
Uh-huh.
Fuck, he look good. Okay, so anyway, Carter and McAllister, they have a little convo. He states life is less complicated underwater than the surface. That surely cannot be true.
Say it one more time. Life is more complicated underwater than on the surface?
No. He makes to me sounds like a really deep statement, but if you analyze it, it's fucking dumb. He states life is less complicated underwater than the surface. That is not true. For one, you can't breathe underwater. 2, there's things trying to eat you underwater.
Well, I guess it is more simplistic, and you don't have to deal with relationships and other things like that. It's just are you going to die and not die from this shark?
Okay,
basically.
all right.
I wrote down in this part 2 things. One was the scene right around this. Are they feeding sharks to the other sharks?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I didn't know, because that's when the 12-footer gets eaten by the gins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When they drop that in there?
Yeah, I didn't know if that was supposed to happen, or they're like, whoa, they're fucking hunting in packs now. What is this?
No, they seem like they're supposed to do that. But it's because if you have a fish tank, you drop the thing in and the fish go crazy, right? But they look like they were feeding sharks to other sharks. Where were they getting those sharks from?
Right, but if you remember during this convo where he's wearing a really cool outfit, he says hey man, these sharks are only eating sharks, and they got out of this fence.
Yeah, because he's saying he's complaining about the one getting out that he had to go catch.
Yeah,
and he's like, it got out. And he's like, well, I don't know, man. And they're like, well, it got out. What do you
think? Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's back now.
They don't really explain how it got out either, right?
But
he said the one guy said he left the gate open.
No, he said he didn't leave the gate open.
Yeah, he said he didn't, but he was Thomas Jane's character was questioning it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much. So after
I also wrote down foreshadowing out the ass. Is this whole first 30 minutes of the movie was foreshadowing out the ass.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, the whole movie is, because I think if you want to teach film students about foreshadowing, at least to get the concept, there's so many examples in here where you be like, look at that. That's a perfect example there. Because all the times when he's like, is the fence reinforced? He's like, yeah, they're fine. And the other part too, where he's like, so the tranks I used on the sharks, he's like, it took 3 of them. He's like, no, you missed. He's like, no, I hit it. It took 3 of them.
Yeah, he goes, no, it took 2. And he's like, And Ginger, I'm gonna call him Ginger.
Ginger, yeah.
That's Michael Rappaport's character. Ginger's like, 2 of them would have killed it, and he's like, no,
yeah.
And I hit him with 2,
yeah.
and it's still alive.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the concern, he dumps his concerns off to McAllister. She's basically like, you're shit out of luck, man, because if we don't do this, we're all out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get the introduction of the storm heading towards the lab, and then the expedition dump is done.
Mm-hmm.
The action can commence, the meat of the movie. First time seeing this, if you remember, or even when you watch this for the pod, how are you feeling at this point?
I'm like wanting the movie to get like I'm hoping that's finally going to get going, if that makes sense, because like we're to the point where like, okay, we get it, like let's go, let's start getting some stuff, and like they do a good job at least of setting the tension, knowing that like something's going to fuck up. And granted, you're in there for like a movie, so you know what's going to,
right.
But like they do a good job of setting up the tension, like something's.
No, what if it was a bait and switch? Like they had this really cool trailer, and then it was just like a slice of life Napoleon Dynamite style movie,
and it was like a love romance thing, and he and like Saffron Burrows like start hooking.
Yeah, it was a rom-com, and like the sharks can talk, and they're like, "Fuck it," that would be weird.
Yeah, exactly. That would be good. Just twist it.
So, as we talked about last week, shoe leather. Are you not? So this movie's besides the opening sequence, the next what would you say 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah,
is all shoe leather. Are you not a fan of shoe leather?
I'm okay with it. I feel like this movie did a good job of like skipping past some of that stuff. Well, here's the thing too. I watched this on Hulu this time because it was on free.
I did too.
Did you notice how they cut it up so there was breaks, but then didn't take commercial breaks?
Oh, I was going to bring that up. Yeah, so it would fade to black and fade. I wonder if they got that from, or if it was it was some sort of pay format, or if you didn't have a subscription to Hulu, those were the commercial breaks went in, the ads went in.
Which made me wonder if this is a cut down like TV version of the movie.
Well, I don't. I had the VHS version, and everything seemed to be in it.
Did you remember it was in there? Okay,
yeah. So
that was my fear, because like I thought I was missing stuff, because like they had the cut points at like points where it naturally would. Do you think?
There was one that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
What one was it? It was like right in the middle of an action sequence. I was like, what the?
Yeah, I know which one it was. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think it was in the tube later where they're going up.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So the next section of action I labeled the big experiment. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we begin the big experiment sequence. Carter is scubaed up to retrieve the Gen 1. Once again, I love the sequence. He's made to look like a badass. I very much acted this scene out in my mom's pool when I was younger. But surely there's got to be an easier way to get the shark, right? Other than
like baiting him.
Other than taking a human being out on these genetically altered super sharks.
Yeah. Could you imagine okay, let's talk about things that wouldn't happen in this movie. Insurance risks alone on that.
Yeah, that's the head of the money. I'd be like, and Samuel Jackson's character, he's the dude putting the money. I'm like, get that dude out of here.
Yeah, so when they're like, so describe your risks on the job. Maybe they're far enough off the sea where
international
they're not
waters.
Yeah, where OSHA's not applied.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be.
All right.
Does OSHA apply on ships? We should look.
Does
that up.
OSHA apply on oceans?
Oceans.
I was trying to. You got it. Okay, so he goes out in the chain link fence tunnel, where we see sharks are now hunting in coordinated attacks. Mm-hmm. It is made quite clear that they recognize his gun. They swim backwards, both of which are impossible
for sharks. Yeah.
Then the Gen 1 starts taking out the cameras like they are in a heist movie.
Yes.
Even with a bigger brain, unless I'm talking to Carl Pilkington, even with a bigger brain, the sharks don't have a point of reference to know what cameras are or what guns are. I mean, they might know what the gun is, I guess.
Like dogs will recognize stuff like that. Like they'll know that like this certain thing this guy holds, and I get food afterwards.
Okay, I take the gun back, but the cameras, they're just.
I wouldn't think it knows what a camera does.
Yeah, they would. Yeah. Okay, all right.
If so, you think they would be talking at that point?
Maybe they do talk.
Hey, can you let me out of here?
Okay, so
one part in here you wanted to bring up about, or you were talking about stuff that wasn't sure or not.
Right.
They say this one guy says the shark's the oldest species. That's like or whatever. That's not even close to true.
Oh, it's still. I mean, they're an old species.
It's in the top 10.
Right.
One kind of shark is in the top 10, but it's not even close to the oldest species.
Is it the great white? No.
No. It's some like little like really small shark.
Oh,
it's in, like towards the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's like the only one. But actually, like salmon is way up there. I think.
Well, the scientist is he's an amateur sharkologist, Gary. He's more of this. He's more of like a medical doctor. So
right, he doesn't know everything.
Yeah. So after that, to get the shark, Carter enters the open water and is quickly chased down by the Gen 1. I'm assuming. Well, it was pretty big, so maybe it was a Gen 2.
I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
The shark size in this movie vary wildly.
Yeah, there's no like they talk about how big it is, but you never really feel the bigness.
Yeah, and there's scenes where I'm pretty sure they show it bigger than it actually was, because like that scene where they rip apart when they feed it, that's like a 12-foot shark, right? So then if you extrapolate that based on the size of the ones that are attacking it, those other ones are like huge, like 25 feet sharks. And then later on, they're swimming around in places that are like barely human fits
that 12-foot shark would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Carter gives he's quickly chased down by the Gen 1. Carter gives the shark the classic scuba tank shuffle. Scuba diving 101, Gary.
Switch.
They teach that on the first day of scuba diving.
They do.
He's clearly a professional scuba diver.
If a shark's chasing you, take off your scuba gear, leave the bubbles on, and then grab your little emergency thing. It'll attack the bubbles.
So I loved it. I loved it all the time. He is somehow able to get a tranked 8,000-pound shark onto the platform.
By the way, that is not at all how tranks work. Like, they take a little time. That's why, like, if... You know how... You ever seen, like, when they go trank, like, rhinos and stuff like that? They'll fly helicopters, and there'll be a dude on the side of the helicopter that'll shoot it off the helicopter. But they have to shoot it, and then it has to work its way through your blood system.
But these are super sharks. Their blood flows really fast.
Oh, yeah, okay, got it.
You keep missing that point.
Right, yeah.
So I know I'm pretty much having a love letter to Thomas Jane, but man, when he comes up, when he's raised up, and it's just him and the shark emerge from the water, fucking badass, dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, this dude's bad. I'm like, this is the kind of job I want. I wish I was the dude that was like,
no,
fucking Adam. I mean, I'm a puss, you know that, so it ain't gonna happen. But I wish I was the dude that everyone was like, go get Adam, he'll take care of it.
When it's like such a typical, that scene is like such the typical scene, like, oh, look, the cameras are going down. Oh, look, we can't talk to the guy. Oh, we think he's messing with us. Oh, he's not messing with us. The shark's going right for him. And then everything's fine.
Yeah. That's how cool he is. Carter, we find out earlier in the scene we forgot to talk about, he is a felon for smuggling. Yeah. I didn't even know it was a real thing. He's a legit Han Solo.
So are they both felons? Because the one Samuel L. Jackson character said he was basically like in prison or something like that too, didn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Like, I thought they both said they went to jail. So why is he there? Is he there to actually work, or is that like the only job he can get? Like, I don't understand.
Well, I think he's there to work. He's there. Yeah, because what was he smuggling? I mean, he must have been smuggling in the water because he has expertise. Yeah. Unless he learned all this
pearls, maybe, I don't know.
Unless he learned
lobster.
Pearls, unless he learned shark wrangling in jail.
They teach you that in jail. You work out a lot and then wrangle sharks.
Well, I mean, clearly he's a scuba diver because he did the classic scuba tank shuffle.
Yeah, exactly.
So he knew. Well, that is 101. So maybe he at least took one class.
Yeah.
Of scuba.
Which the science behind that seems kind of interesting because like sharks, I think I've heard before are more likely to attack. There's like thrashing around, just because it's a sign there's a like an injured animal or something in the water. Right. Something's not supposed to be in the water. So like say like a bird lands in the water and starts thrashing around trying to swim. Sharks like, oh, I'm gonna go attack that
because great whites, they don't really attack like they do in the movies. That they'll bite and then they'll leave you alone because they lose their teeth so quickly.
Yeah,
that they'll bite you and just let you bleed to death and then
come back
and
later.
Then come back.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they're gonna take the easiest route. They're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, it's like most animals too. It's like when they attack, they don't attack like the really. I almost said high level. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, it's like they won't really attack the more powerful ones. They go for the weak ones. That's why they go for like the babies and stuff like that.
Right.
Watch Planet Science or Animal Planet. I know
we all go to kill babies, Gary.
Exactly. Yeah.
What? Okay, so I wrote down the shark in the lab scene was used in all the Blu-ray adverts for years. Remember when you put on a movie when
it
Blu-ray
would be in the background
or DVD? I'm sorry, not Blu-ray, DVDs. when DVDs were first coming out, they would always have an advert for the new technology, digital video, and it was always check this scene out. And it was always like,
you know what? I do remember that.
Yeah. They hoard that scene out to all the adverts. Yeah.
Decent CGI and so was that shark was CGI or no?
No, that was a practical shark.
I mean, they did a pretty good job at making that look like a real shark.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so the operation is done, and the test of the sample takes place, and it works. Mm-hmm. So even knowing how the movie ends, they cure or at least make a huge leap forward in the treatment of Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
So that's
they know how it works.
So that's a happy ending,
right? You would think.
Right, okay.
What if that's how the movie ended? Just like, and now no one has Alzheimer's. Be good.
Yeah. Okay, so. During the extraction of the blood, I wrote this down. I don't know why I wrote this down.
Brain protein juice.
Brain protein. It kind of bothered me. True Blood's dad, the scientist, tries lighting up a cig.
Yeah,
dude,
come on, man.
I mean,
underwater.
Well, that and what if you contaminate the? I mean, you're in a fucking
the sample.
Science
Yeah,
lab.
exactly. Yeah. Not a very good scientist.
All right, anyway. Plus, you're smoking. Don't smoke.
Yeah, don't smoke.
Anyways, the experiment was a success, and everyone for the moment is celebrating when the Jinn One wakes up and rips the arm off the smoking scientist.
By the way, before this, when they're worried about Thomas Jane and the shark attacks like the cameras and all stuff like that, as soon as they get it up into the bay, everyone forgot about the shark attacking the cameras and stuff like that, and Thomas Jane almost dying.
Yeah,
everyone forgets about it. Like, oh, cool, man.
Didn't even ask him if he's okay.
Yeah, didn't even ask him if he's okay. He's like back on top of the thing.
It's because it's Carter. He's badass.
Yeah, they know he's okay.
Yeah.
But still, attacking the cameras, they don't even talk about it. They're just like, well, we got a job to do. Let's go.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson says, "Did I just see that shark swim backwards? That is not." And then they were just like, "Well,
yeah." They're like, "Oh, whatever." But yeah, so it rips his arm off.
What'd you think of that?
I thought it was for putting yourself in '99. That was pretty good, CGI and everything like that.
Did you see the classic? The real arm was behind the shirt because when he falls over, he's got a big old hump sticking out.
The one thing I thought happened, I thought continuity wise, I thought the shark bit off his right arm and then they flip and it's actually his left arm.
Oh, I don't know. I'll watch that. I don't know.
I might have to go back and watch that again because I think they had a continuity error and it flipped arms. But I think someone would have caught that by now.
Go back and watch it because the actor's got his real arm tucked
back behind,
and I think he shifted too close to the camera, and you can see it.
It'll pop out.
Yeah.
That's his third arm.
1999. They're still using techniques used at the beginning of
right,
cinema.
exactly, yeah.
Whatever works.
It also wasn't the blood that was chocolate syrup.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. Well, sharks love chocolate syrup.
They do. They love it.
Okay. All right. With a heavy heart, Gary.
Yes.
I'm going to go against my man Jane here. When the arm's ripped off, he instantly goes for a shotty to kill the Jinn until McAllister screams and drops it back in the ocean. Okay. 1, it's a shark. That's what they do. 2, it just woke up from being tranked and protein ripped from its brain.
Yeah.
3, the motherfuckers created the shark. It's technically your all's fault anyway.
Right. But I think his thing is it's like if an animal attacks a human, something like that, and they know that humans, they'll kill the animal that attacked a human.
I know, but that's what pisses me off. Recently, there's some dude had 2 lions in his house. He was unqualified. He was uncertified.
Yeah.
He had no reason to have these 2 lions, right?
Yeah.
And the only reasons why they couldn't pull it from his house was because there was no evidence of animal cruelty.
Yeah.
Well, the dad comes to the house to see his son, and the son's found mauled to death by these lions.
Yeah. That's
what lions do.
Yeah.
And they were 5-year-old lions. They weren't like lion cubs.
Yeah.
And so they go in and they shoot the lions.
It wasn't their fault. They didn't want to be there.
Shoot the fucking dad for having a stupid son.
I know. But I get it. They do it because they don't want it to have a taste for humans and know that humans can be eaten. Because apparently that's how you got man-eating bears and stuff like that. They would go and hunt humans. Now, it's not right, but yeah.
So anyway, I apologize to Thomas Jane, but I had to go against him on that.
I thought he made the right move. That's what you got to do. I mean, he's already. You don't know what he's going to do. I mean, granted, he's going to go shoot it and finish it off, or whatever. Because I think he already knows that shark's like fucked up anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like something's wrong. The fact that it's like, you know, jiggling around all over the place and it's getting smarter, things like that.
Talking.
Talking.
Taking selfies.
Hey guys, that really hurts. Can you not do
that? Okay, so follow. Let me see if we're still recording. We're still recording. Okay. So following that, we get the botched rescue. Probably my favorite in the entire movie.
That whole sequence there was probably my favorite scene.
It is the most unrealistic.
Yes.
From a stuntman's point of view, loved it. Plus, I just kind of like it because it's just like one thing piling up on the next, on the next, on the next.
So let's talk about that explosion. Okay. So there's a YouTube channel that analyzes explosions in movies and stuff like that, and because this guy who's like an explosions.
Wait, are you getting to the helicopter? The heli?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Oh, hang on. Okay. So C-Lab is being bombarded by the storm at this point. They call in a med evac to help the True Blood's dad. So how far? So once again, how far off the coast are they that the med evac can be there?
Yeah, like instantly.
Right.
I don't know. Well, see, I think that's where they got I thought this movie is much better at getting rid of the shoe leather and stuff like that you were talking about. I'm not going to use that as a term. Which, by the way, apparently we probably should describe what that is. Shoe leather is.
Shoe leather is a cinematic slang term for. So when you're making a movie or your script, every action that your characters make is supposed to be moving forward, be pushing the script, moving the story forward. There should be it should be all lean muscle. It shouldn't be any fattiness of the story.
The example would be like if a detective has to go to someone's house to investigate it, you don't show him like getting in his car, filling up on the way.
Not unless it adds to the story. Yeah. So shoe leather is basically just so A to B, shoe leather is A.5.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So
the path to B, not just getting to B.
Right. Okay, so the medevac's there. Carter rushes out, hit by waves. I'm like, fuck, that's badass. From a stuntman's point of view, I'm like, I wish I was in the scene. So, so here's my question. So the heli drops the winch, right? Yeah. They have someone go down with the winch in reality, because when they attach the emergency person, they need to make it attached correctly. They're not going to just trust. I mean, it is Carter, so you know he's going to do it right.
I mean, he's already exactly. I mean, he's already on the stretcher. But yes, normally, like if it's the Coast Guard, they'll send a diver down and go onto it. Now, one difference is if they're hovering above a boat that's like in the process of sinking, they may lower just the basket, because people know how to get in like the basket and then they'll raise them up. So they may not necessarily go down with them. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so the heli is winching up the scientist. Something goes wrong and he's dropped back down into the shark pen. Why did the winch malfunction? Did it malfunction because it's wet? And if they have a winch...
No, it was like the way it was looped up, it was getting caught on itself, like it was jamming up.
Oh, okay.
Like it was binding up. But meanwhile, I thought so it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and I thought something else was going to happen. Like I thought like they were going to winch it up and he starts to hover over the water. I thought the shark was going to come out of the water and like snap him off of it.
Yeah. Okay, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Yeah. So I thought that was going to happen, and then it didn't. But so when he drops the winch, by the way. So those helicopters, this is a bit of science, so when helicopters fly and stuff like that, they build up static electricity. So when they first started doing stuff like this, they would have people like, it would drop it, and because they're flying around generating static electricity all the time, they would drop it, and people would grab like the hook and it would electrocute them.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah, because all that.
Carter knows better.
Discharging. Well, but no, he grabbed it. So normally what they do is they make it drop down, touch the ground, and then you hook onto it.
Gotcha.
Then they'll raise it back up.
Okay.
So you don't get that static electricity charge. Now, I don't know if that happens with rain too, like the rain's discharging it because it's dropping down through or something like that. But I was sitting there like, that'd be a weird way for the movie to end, like, or for Carter's involvement to end if he just grabs it. Now, my thought on the part about the winching it up and everything like that like, since it was so quick to respond, that's something like that they practiced before. Like, they have drills for that. So they know that, like, just hook it up here and drag them up, you know.
Okay, all right. Okay, so if you're True Blood's dad and you hit that water, You instantly know you're fucked.
Yeah,
right?
I'm dead.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Because it's in the pen. By the way, why are they raising it above the pen? Like, why don't you have that on the other side, on the ocean side?
I wrote in my notes, you know you're fucked, right?
Yeah. Well, and see, the thing that's weird is they have the oxygen mask on him. That's like not a typical like oxygen mask for like say for like medical reasons. That's like a scuba mask they have on him.
Well, you know
but
why?
It's a setup
yeah,
later.
It's a setup, yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, everything's foreshadowing.
Exactly. So when I saw that, I was like, why do they have that kind of mask? Like that requires him to bite down,
right.
So the air is actually going in. The other ones are like just over his face, so he's
it's like,
naturally breathing.
It's like, hey, we're gonna put this oxygen mask on you. No, that's not the right one. No, just in case you fall into the water, let's put this.
No reason.
Okay, so after he falls in the water, one of the Jinn ones grab the scientist and starts pulling him underwater. This causes the heli to crash into the sea lab, killing them. Mom Soprano dies, and there's major structural damage to the sea lab.
Yeah.
Okay, so your explosion.
So there's a YouTube video of a guy he's actually an explosions engineer, which I didn't know that was a job when I was younger because I definitely would have gone for that job. And he analyzes like different explosions in movies and stuff like that and how it would affect you. Basically, anytime you see someone blown back in a movie, that never happens in explosions. It like basically just liquefies your inside because the shock
right. Yeah. And if you are blown back, it's just like a little bit. It's not.
Yeah. It's like to knock you down. It's not like you push up and fly into the air and then fly 25 feet away.
Unless it's probably a nuclear explosion.
Oh yeah, that'd probably blow you. Yeah.
But it won't matter.
But anyway, so he analyzes these different explosions, and actually he says one of the best ones is Dark Knight, or what's the one when the Joker blows up the hospital?
Dark Knight.
Yeah. So when that happens, he's like, that's actually pretty realistic. He's like, the only thing that's not is the explosions happening like as like a domino effect. He's like, normally you hit it once and it just all goes off. Right. He's like, now the thing that's unpractical about that is that like he would have had to gone in and out of there like thousands of times to stack all those. But then he also wipes away. Was like, well, he's a Joker. Like he gets
plus you'd have to know like where the structural weak points are.
And he actually brings up. He's like, I don't know how a guy dressing like a clown basically would get through a hospital. I
think I've seen that video.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. But anyway, like when I see that helicopter crashing on it, I just keep thinking like, first off, it's raining, so your chance of explosion is probably a little bit lower. But like the giant gas explosions and these huge fireballs and everything like that, none of that would happen.
That's true.
But
fair enough.
Plot development. Because if it just crashed, I'm like, oh man, that sucks. It doesn't do anything.
Okay, so the Jinn 1 is using True Blood's dad as a battering ram underneath the water, and he's shoved into the big viewing window in the lab where it breaks a foot-thick glass.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite scene right there. So you're scared of, like, you have thalassophobia, which is like the fear of stuff emerging, basically.
Is that what the name of it is?
That's what it's called.
What's it called?
Thalassophobia.
Say it one more time.
Thalassophobia. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it.
Okay, all right. Anyway.
But it usually has to do with water. But don't you also have it with like stuff coming out of like dark too?
Yeah, coming out of dark.
It's basically any emerging.
Yeah. But it's got to be large or something. If like a cat was emerging from the dark, I'd just be like, oh.
But if it's a tiger, you'd be like,
yeah. If it's yeah.
So
I do
that
not like
scene to me, I was like, oh, he's gonna hate this scene.
Yeah,
I love it at the same time because it just comes out of nowhere and you see the guy slowly
Samuel L. Jackson's like, can someone tell me what that is?
Yeah, exactly. And it's dude swimming forward.
So I wrote
sharks are dicks.
So I wrote you know you're fucked, right? When you're stuck against the window, and you're just stuck against the window, and you're looking back at your coworkers, like,
"Hey guys,
you just been inside the mouth of a mako.
What would you do at that time if you know you're dead? Would you do anything different?
Well, you can't really do anything. He can't really do anything.
Double birds, like flip them both off. Yeah, something like that. Pull your pants down.
So the glass breaks and the ocean fills the lab. Another stuntman's dream. Another scene I used to reenact, by the way. Because
like the water rushing in and you have to get like Titanic.
Okay, how legit is that? Like it would be because they had. I mean, it filled the room pretty quickly, but it gave them time to get to the hatch.
I think it would be almost like instantaneous. Because think of like if you open. Like, you could do this experiment, I feel like, if you had, like...
Well, we go to the backyard. We have a sea lab back there.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
We can do it in the sea lab. We'll have to do it this summer. It's a little cold.
Oh, fair enough.
But, like, if you like were to pull like say like a gate where there's water, it would like rush in really quickly.
So there's no way. So
I'm pretty sure they'd all be dead.
Basically, you saw that 12-foot shard of glass. You better be hauling ass.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the glass.
Yeah, don't wait and look at it, see if it's going to break.
Yeah.
Or like wave at the dock one last time.
So, and plus, there's no way they're getting that hatch open. And if they get it open, they're not closing it.
So here's the thing. It's like a World War II one, which actually did a pretty good job in the beginning of this. They did a pretty good job of showing like things that would have been like, so those bulk hatches, right?
Right.
So if you're in a Navy ship, like around that, I don't know if they still have them or not. I would guess they still do. But like you can actually shut those in the water.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you could have pulled it closed with the force of it, but that's how you keep ships from sinking. Because like you'll take a hit to one part of the ship, and that part will start flooding, but you seal it off with those big doors to keep it from flooding the other parts of the ship. So you have these bunch of different compartments, and you keep the whole thing from flooding by keeping individual compartments flooded, but the other ones not. Funny thing, that's why the Titanic, part of the reason Titanic sunk was because I believe they said the compartments didn't go all the way to the ceiling.
Right.
So it would fill up one and overflow into the
yeah.
next one and overflow into the next one.
Right,
That's part
right.
of the reason why I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they would have took it all the way to the top and sealed it off, it would have been all right.
Always go to the top.
Always go to the top. Don't half-ass the job.
Don't half-ass.
Ever.
Okay, so they get out and they discover that they have to go. They discover that they can't go up.
Mm-hmm.
That they have to go down to go up, and they discover that they have to go to the maintenance shop to get to the sub. Which
your dream is a maintenance man.
To me is the most realistic part because maintenance men always save the day. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw that in there. It's a good way to live.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, we get intercut action scenes. We get the gang making their way to the maintenance shop, and LL's preacher character being attacked in the kitchen.
Yeah.
On the way to the shop,
that scene, by the way, where he's attacked in the kitchen, I think LL Cool J has some of the best scenes in this movie.
Well, dude, my dad hates that scene.
The one where he's in the oven gets turned on. I love it because it's so cheesy.
Let's jump to that scene because we don't really miss much there. So okay, so the gang's making their way to the maintenance shop. Intercut with that, LL Cool J gets attacked, right?
Yeah.
So his level is being flooded. It's about half flooded,
and he's shivering all the time.
Yeah, well, it's the ocean. It's cold.
Not where they're at. They're like off the coast of Mexico. It'd be like warmer there.
Cold side of Mexico.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so it's
Arctic Mexico.
It's about half filled with water, and then the shark comes. He gets an axe, and then he climbs on a shelving unit that's like his feet are barely out of the water.
Yep.
He goes to reach the parrot. The shark comes up and eats the parrot, which I'm usually like. I cry when pets get killed, but for some reason I was like, "Fuck!"
You felt like that parrot deserved
that
it.
bird. I don't know. Why. Maybe it's because it ain't got a face like dogs. I don't know. But I was like, "Fuck that bird." So anyway, he falls. Which
is comical, by the way. The fact that it would jump for a. Where's it going to get the power to jump? It's got like sharks like go down and then like come up several feet,
right?
To power themselves out of water to get like when they jump for like seals and stuff like that. Right. It's got no room to do that.
No.
So another thing that doesn't work.
And plus,
unless these sharks grew legs and they're like, I'm going to jump.
So it went for the parrot, but it didn't reach 2 feet for the dude, the big old black man.
Which honestly, the parrot's not your biggest threat right there. Shark.
Yeah.
Bad move.
It is a talker. Maybe he's trying to get rid of the snitches.
Yeah, because snitches get stitches.
Yes,
or dead
or eaten.
Eaten alive.
Anyway. So
swim with the fishes.
So is that where that saying comes from? This movie?
Yeah. Well, yes, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
People in the '60s used this before this movie came out.
That makes sense to me. Okay, so let me get to. So that causes the parrot's being munched on. That causes a shelf to fall over. He falls into the water and he quickly jumps into an oven.
Yeah.
Okay. The shark starts ramrodding the oven.
Yeah.
Accidentally. Or on purpose, because they are super sharks.
Yeah.
So maybe he turns the gas on. Yeah. Okay. You're in a... This is where my dad flips out and started screaming at the movie because he's like, how stupid.
Like recently or like back in 99?
When I was originally watching.
Yeah.
He uses a metal axe which he has just like the shark, he has no room.
Yeah, to swing his arm.
But
we're doing the hand actions in here as if you can see this.
We're Atlanta Braves fans.
Yeah. But he's like doing the chop, but he can't chop.
Right. So let's bypass that.
Yeah.
Let's say he does have room to swing. He's hitting a metal axe on the metal in a gas-filled enclosed area. No sparks happen.
Yeah. But I think the oven's already on, though, right?
That's what
it's already burning the gas.
That's what. No, I don't think so.
No, that's because he's got burns later. Because he starts talking about how hot it's getting in there.
Right.
See, I don't think it's sparks. I think he already turns it on and also clicks the little thing to start the igniter too. Because like later on, he's got burns on his face.
Well, I thought it was from the explosion.
No,
though.
I think that's from the being in the oven.
So okay, but then why does it? So anyway, so he gets out. He gets into the oven above.
Besides the fact you would never be able to chop through into an oven above.
Right, even if you had room.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets in the oven above, jumps out, stands up, and does a one-liner. Pulls a Zippo, his water-soaked Zippo.
So here's the thing. Yes. Before that though, he still has the hatchet with him, and he like jumps over the shark. I would have just like went to town on that shark's head.
That's unrealistic, Gary.
Well, yeah. And by the way, that's like the world's smallest hatchet. It's almost not as big as his hand.
Well, he's got to have room
to chop.
They knew that's what that was for.
They couldn't do a big axe and be like.
Well, if you remember, he breaks it out of that glass thing, and then on the glass says, "In case stuck in oven being attacked by shark, break glass
and swing upwards."
Yes, swing upwards. So anyway, he jumps over, lands in water, gets up, takes his water-soaked Zippo out, ignites it somehow, and says, "You ate. This is for eating my bird, or you ate my bird."
Yeah.
And he throws
it,
and then this is what really pisses my dad off. And it causes a big old explosion, pushes him underwater, and he's like, "There's not enough effing gas to do."
Wouldn't have built up yet. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's multiple things. I wrote down that he pulled out the wet Zippo too and throws it. I'm pretty sure as soon as you throw that thing, the flame would have gone out.
And not even that. Wouldn't the lid just swing back around?
You would think it would either that or like throwing it would knock the flame out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like those things are. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they would. I don't have a Zippo. I don't
either.
Regular Bic lighters.
When I smoke crack, I just.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay, so we bypass that scene. So right now we have Tony Soprano's wife's dead. The parrot is dead. True Blood's dad is dead.
Yep.
Okay, so now we jump to the maintenance shop. They're there. It's trashed.
Yes.
The sub that they were going to take up to the top, it's crashed.
Yep.
Okay. It's hinted at that they think the sharks did that.
Like it swam up and hit it, so it wouldn't do that.
Because Ginger...
Because they keep saying that there's no way that thing would have got knocked off.
Yeah, because Ginger's like, there's no explosion big enough on that surface that would have caused this level to shake.
Mm-hmm.
So these sharks are being set up as like James Bond villains.
Yes.
Or like a Jason, Freddy, Chucky, Mike Myers slasher villain. Okay, so this at that point, we get probably the most famous or infamous scene in the movie, which is the munching down on Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Before this, the exposition he gives, though, when he's talking about we all need to work together, because he's like, oh, well, there's a part we didn't tell anyone about when we were in the Himalayas. He says Himalayas the most positive when before he corrected her, it said Alps.
Fuck, I'll have to watch it. You may be right.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he said Himalayas when we were in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
And before he corrected her and said Alps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's this part there where he's like, you know how we all made it out of there? 2 of them died. We said they died in the avalanche. They didn't. They went against us, so we killed them.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn.
Or, see, I took it as they ate them, too.
No, I took it as like they killed them because they were all like breaking up and everything.
I took it.
Maybe they did.
I took it different because I thought it was a metaphor. Like he ate the people, so he's being eaten by the shark.
Well, he wasn't eaten by the shark yet. He was talking about how we need to
work
together.
Right, I know, but his final ending in life. Okay.
By the way, better motivational speaker in that part, Samuel L. Jackson or Thomas Jane? Because Samuel Jackson's giving this whole thing like we need to work together, everything like that. Then the shark on him. And then Thomas Jane gives a speech where he's like, and I'm like, you go ahead with your part, and I'll tell what I was.
No, I was just saying. So the speech, probably the most famous scene of the movie. It was spoiled by me because my friend, he had one of the first DVDs around, DVD players. He's like, watch the scene, watch what happens to Samuel L. Jackson. I hadn't seen any of the movie. He's just like, watch this shark eat Samuel L. Jackson. So that scene was ruined for me. So
I knew it was going to happen.
So going into, what did you think? Did it catch you off guard?
Well, okay, so I knew he was going to get eaten at some point because of Chappelle's show when Dave Chappelle's acting like Samuel L. Jackson, and he's talking about his beer, like Samuel L. Jackson's beer, and he's like, "Ain't you ever seen my movies? Deep Blue Sea, they ate me. A fucking shark ate me."
Okay.
So, like, I knew that was going to happen, but, like, I didn't know when. But I was figuring, because they were saying, like, hey, I wouldn't stand too close to that. And then he's over there standing too close to that on the scene. And it was a part where they pause and they zoom out. I was like, this is where he's going to... And then it's like, yep, that's exactly what happened.
So in his speech, he goes... And this is kind of when we get classic Samuel L. Jackson acting, because he's been kind of subdued the whole movie, but he's kind of got his loud voice, like
boisterous.
Motherfucker type.
You're gonna listen to me.
Anyway, he goes, "You think water is fast? How fast do you think ice moves?" And I'm like, I'm not a waterologist by any means, but they're one and the same. They're one and the same, right?
Well,
ice and
water,
glaciers
don't move very fast.
But ice and water.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing. It's a different form of water. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's liquid water.
Plus, an avalanche is mainly snow, not really ice, right?
And I'm pretty sure water moves faster than avalanche.
I would assume.
Well, maybe not. Well, no, I guess a lot of water.
Yeah,
I think water moves faster than ice.
Let's go test it. We'll be right back, folks.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Take a pause.
And we're back.
Yeah, and we're back. The ice did move quicker.
Yes.
Samuel was right.
And we ate a bunch of dogs.
Oh, we did.
Okay, so anyway, so the shark comes up. I wrote this down in my notes. When do you think he's dead? Like, when would you be dead? Shark comes up and grabs you. You're not dead at that point, right? Like, you feel like you go underwater.
No, I'm pretty sure you would be. Well, the shock might block it out. Like, you would. I think you would almost go into shock instantly. I don't know. I'm not a medical person, but like, I would think you would go into shock pretty quick, so you wouldn't necessarily know. I mean, it's not like it matters. You're dead. Anyway.
Shocked as in terrified, or shocked in trauma to your body?
Like trauma shock. As in,
so
because you've lost limbs, your mind
No. I mean, just from like, because he doesn't lose any limbs from the initial grab. He gets grabbed and pulled under, and then he's whole underwater for a second. He gets ripped
in half. You'd be alive for that.
Yeah, so you'd be like, oh, like, what's going through your mind right then?
A fucking shark ate me.
Yeah. I'm tired of these motherfucking sharks
on this motherfucking plane. What? No, but yeah, that would be terrifying. Like, well, and the thing too that like. Say like, you ever heard of these Werner Herzog documentaries?
Yeah.
You know the one where they're talking about the guy who went and got ate by a bear? Him and his wife got ate by a bear.
Oh, yeah.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, it's actually on camera, or the audio is on camera.
The audio is on camera, yeah. By the way, I thought I was listening on YouTube. I thought I was listening to a reel like that happening. It wasn't.
Oh.
But like I was thinking about that because I was like, well, how much would you be alive if something's eating you alive? And then it got onto like weird torture methods, like where they would put rats on people's stomachs before and make the rats eat people out of stomach. This is getting real gross. Right. But anyway, like I talked about how long people would be alive for that. But could you imagine like getting there and something eating you alive and you're still? I'd be like, so someone come and kill me.
Yeah.
But I think bears collapse your brain, so I think you'd be dead. Like I think they crush your skull.
Yeah, they do so much trauma so quickly.
Well, because like sharks and mountain lions do that too, or not sharks. Like lions and mountain lions will do that. Like they crush your skull because like an animal's thing is to get you to stop moving, so it can stop wasting energy.
Oh yeah.
So like if it kills you, that's why like dogs go for your throat.
Right. Yeah, they're not fighting the way we fight. Humans fight.
They instantly go to kill you.
Yeah, it's like fuck that. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So I think you'd be alive for a little bit of that, of the shark taking you down and then ripping you apart, which very, very violent for like the shark always to rip your Like a lot of people get ripped in half in this movie, basically.
Right. Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic shark move.
Yeah, exactly. It's just very like, damn.
Classic dick shark move.
Dick shark move. Yeah.
Okay, so it's at this point they decide to go up the maintenance shaft, but they're not sure because if it's go ahead.
Because this is the part where I was saying like I feel like Thomas Jane beats out Samuel L. Jackson for the motivational speaker part. Because remember when like Ginger's freaking out?
Yeah.
He's talking him through. He's like, "Hey, wait, how many pounds of this does this hold?" and blah 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 blah, and he like gets him to do all this science.
Talks
stuff
about what's
like
going to happen. He's like, "Do you want to be around for that?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Let's go."
Yeah, exactly. So he's I think he's a much better motivational speaker.
What's Thomas Jane, man? That's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, they have to open the door to the maintenance shaft, but if it's too structurally damaged on top, it will cause the flooding. So they open it, and there's like a beat of nothing. You're like, oh, okay, and then it just instantly.
Yeah.
So they rush in. At this point, I feel like it's a platforming video game at this point to me. So they've got the rushing ocean. They run up. They have to climb up the maintenance shaft. They can't get the door closed this time. So they're racing the rising water, which is a classic platforming video game.
Yeah.
And then Carter jumps off to a lower level to open a door to kind of.
Which the sharks weren't in there at first.
Not yet. So he opens the door to kind of detour some of the water, rushing water temporarily, and then the sharks come in. So
here was my part before the sharks got in there. I was like, well, why don't you just wait and let the water take you to the top?
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, why do you care?
Well, the sharks is probably what they were thinking.
Well, but the sharks weren't in there yet. And he was already like, I'm going to go down this level and let some of the water out so it keeps us. I was like, no, keep it because it'll just take us literally right to the top.
Well, maybe they're trying to stop the immediate sinking of the...
Oh, yeah, because I guess if that thing sinks,
right.
then there's... Okay, good point. Because I was just like sitting there like video game logic me was like, let's just ride it to the top.
Well, video game logic, they would have died the second they hit water.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
you can't touch water.
Yeah, you can't touch water. So anyway, the sharks enter. So now they've got they're racing the rushing water with a shark in it. So it's like the bad guy at the level, and then the ladder that they're on breaks and like comes down, so it's perpendicular.
Yes.
To the
perfectly perpendicular.
Yeah, and So the movement of ladder breaking causes Blondie to fall into the water.
Which, by the way, I was actually glad Blondie was dead at some point because earlier in the movie she's yelling at like Saffron Burrows' character, and she's saying like, "You caused." That's when the exposition comes out that they've been messing with the sharks' brains and they've been making the sharks.
They broke a bunch of like Geneva laws. Well, not exactly. Geneva, but you know what I mean. Yeah, they broke a bunch.
They're using them for war. But like, yeah, they broke a bunch of like accords and stuff like that.
Right.
And she's like. She's getting mad at her. She's like, "You all caused this. You did too." But like, she's dating the doctor.
Well,
the guy doctor,
hinted
right?
At, yeah.
But they hinted at it, right? And she's getting all pissed at her. And I wanted her to be like, "Your fucking boyfriend was doing the same thing I was. We both agreed to do it together."
Plus, it's like, you know what we're doing here.
Yeah, like this is not the point to yell at someone.
It's like not to get really dark, but like the janitor at Auschwitz isn't innocent. Like,
exactly. He knows exactly
what's
what was going on. Yeah, exactly. It's a very good point. But she's like, we had no idea. But she's like a scientist too, so she knows like, oh wait, these sharks are bigger. Like what's going on here?
Yeah.
These brains are bigger.
Good point. This chick isn't stupid.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. That's why I was kind of glad she died because she went from being like, oh, she's gonna be really smart in the movie to dumb blonde really quick.
Right. So the ladder falling over causes her to get down. Carter is doing his best cliffhanger style to reach her.
That part cracked me up when she falls in and then it brings her out of the water.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me of like she's a trainer at SeaWorld. You know how they're like right on top of the sharks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She's like, ah, and then she goes, it pulls her right back down.
Close your eyes, kid. This went horribly wrong. Okay. It's at that point, Carter is just like, fuck, what are we going to do? He's like, Ginger, can you reach the top door because the water's coming? He's like, no, I can't reach it. And they're like, oh, we're fucked. And then LL Cool J comes, saves the day. Mm-hmm. Anything else before I move on?
LL Cool J at this point might be my favorite shark killer in any movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Anyway, we get to...
Because he's already killed one shark now, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we get to what I call the final plan. So the remaining gang.
By the way, that part when the ladder falls.
Yeah.
That's why all that jungle gym training in school was useful. You know, when they had the monkey bars to climb across?
Oh, yeah.
And do that?
It's all there.
It's all practical. So when you tell your teachers, when am I going to use this? They'll show you Deep Blue Sea.
That's why ISIS always does it in their training.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I forgot about that. Yeah. It's like ISIS and that's it. And kids in elementary school,
that's all
use monkey bars anymore.
Not even monkeys use monkey bars.
Not even monkeys use monkey bars. They would never use it. They would just walk across the top.
Okay, so the remaining gang decide to escape out an emergency hatch and swim for it 60 feet to the surface. There is no way I can hold my breath for 60 seconds. Or 60 seconds. Oh, for 60 feet.
Hold on. Are we at that point yet? Because what about the part where they go into the storeroom?
Right. No, this is just them discussing the plan.
Oh, okay.
We're not there going, but this is them. That's the plan that they're going to do.
And by the way, the part where they're talking about you have to breathe out while you're doing it, that's a real thing.
Right. Because
you get the bends, because the oxygen in your lungs from depressurizing will go in out through your system and ends up in your blood veins. It could kill you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So after they make the plan, they enter Blondie's room looking for batteries for a flashlight, and that's when we get the vibrator joke.
That part cracked me up. I knew you were going to point it out.
He's like, oh, she's a healthy girl. Surely she has a.
Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
So they get her batteries out for that.
Okay, so at this point, LL and Ginger, they're having a little convo, and they're loading up the flashlights. And that's when LL attempts to explain the theory of relativity.
I wrote this down too.
That is not a legit explanation, right?
No, I thought
that's
it was
not the actual.
I don't
theory,
think it was, but like his explanation was like it was very like philosophical because it was something. Did you write it down? What he said?
He's talking about
like when you're doing something, it feels like an hour, but when you're with a really beautiful girl, an hour feels.
He's like
you
go to grab a hot
the hot pan,
and it feels like an hour.
A second feels like an hour.
Yeah.
But an hour with a hot girl seems like a second.
But that's not what the actual theory of relativity is.
No. It's not. But it's a way to make you think of it. And I was like, oh wow.
Because Ginger's like, damn man, I went to 5 years at MIT, and that's and I'm like, fuck.
But like, if you're trying to explain it in general, like how time can be different. That's kind of a way to explain it.
Fair enough. Okay.
It doesn't quite explain the theory, but it like gets you thinking on the right path. I've never actually heard it described that well before. I was actually like, that's a really, 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 really good point.
Okay, so and at that point, you were able to solve quantum mechanics.
Exactly. We've gone to space since then.
Okay, so the team splits up, Scooby-Doo gang style. Ginger and Carter, they go down a level to shut off. I missed this, but they go to shut something off, right?
Wasn't it something like they were trying to turn on the pump or something like that, or turn off the pump? So,
gotcha.
Because they said, well, if we flood one side of this tube, that means we can get up the other side.
Right. Okay.
And that's what they're trying to do.
Okay, so they go to do that.
Sewing around a lot of electric, by the way, and wires and
yeah. Which that panel would not still be funcking, right?
Exactly. I would. Yeah. Well, you're the maintenance man.
Well, it wasn't. I couldn't get a good look at it, but I don't think it was. Are those
A3 panels? Yeah, those are actually rated for 60 feet of water. Depth.
So that's where they go. McAllister heads to her office to retrieve the research, and LL stays to leave his video last will and testament,
which is hilarious.
Really, but you really liked this character, didn't you?
I really liked LL Cool J's character because I like LL Cool J anyway. But like his character is funny because he's like, if I die, I get this. So I'm gonna tell you how to make the perfect omelet. Yeah. Don't use milk. You want fluffy omelets? Don't use milk. Which I was like, damn, that's a really good. Is that really how you do that? Don't use milk.
If you like his character in this movie, watch H2O, Halloween H2O. He plays basically the same character.
Really?
Yeah, except he's a security guard, not a chef.
And I like how he keeps cracking jokes in movies about like how oh, I'm the black guy. That means I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
But like, why is that a thing in movies?
Because it was in horror. It started off in like the 80s slasher films.
Yeah.
And earlier when there wasn't really a lot of diversity in film.
So they would say like we have diversity in our film and then kill them off right away.
No, it wasn't that. It was just typically horror. The female would survive.
Yeah,
and it was typically a blonde, big-breasted Caucasian female.
She would always survive.
She would typically. That's who would survive. And
why? Just because you can have her all the way through the movie?
No, it started off because Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this, people, but I could be wrong. I think was the beginning of the female surviving at the end. It was a blonde Caucasian female.
Yeah.
So that being such a huge influence on future movies, they just kind of copied that and kind of made homages and then ripped it off and kept
going with
so on and so on. But so anyway, so diversity wasn't really big in film back
Yeah.
then. So if there ever was a black male or a black female or a black I meant to say Mexican, whatever,
Mexican.
A character of different race,
Yeah.
they were just killed off.
Right.
Not because of that race, just because it's always the Caucasian.
So they wouldn't.
female.
But they wouldn't use it as a thing of like, oh, we have diversity in our film, but then just kill them off right away. It wasn't that thing. It was more of a.
If it was, it wasn't. I'm sure. I'm
was
sure
like
there
subliminal.
I'm sure there was a slimy
Yeah.
movie producer who's like, we got to have diversity.
And then
Put
someone's
them
like,
in
all
there,
right. And
make her show her
scriptwriter just takes
boobs,
them out.
kill her off. Yeah.
Okay, all right, got it.
Anyway, okay. So McAllister heads to get his research video. So on level 2, Carter and the Ginger they have to team up because there's heavy lab equipment in front of the electrical panel. I don't think they would be able to move that.
Lift that,
over,
yeah, I don't think so either.
So anyway, they accomplish
Because
it.
lifting stuff underwater takes a lot of effort,
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
So they move it. They shut the panel off. Ginger is dispatched quickly by one of the gins.
Yeah, like as soon as they go, they're like, oh, cool, and then
In one of, in my opinion, the worst CG of the movie.
yeah.
That's what that scene I think is the worst CG of the film.
I think you might be right. The only thing I don't like is like the scenes when Preacher's getting chased by like the shark, LL Cool J's character. Like in the
That's not CG though.
Well, whatever it is. But like the thing I have a problem with this movie a lot is how the shark size changes throughout the movie.
Oh yeah,
And so
definitely.
like it's this big giant shark, like a 24-foot shark at least, 30 foot.
There's no way it would have been in the kitchen.
Yeah, it would not have gone in the kitchen. It wouldn't have gone through that tube where the maintenance shaft was.
Right.
It wouldn't have gone swimming through the tunnel. By the way, we got to go back up a point. The part before he gets in the oven, when he like dodges the shark and he gets in behind the thing and the shark's like, oh, I didn't know which way he went. It's such a classic like dumb thing in a movie.
Right.
It's like it was Scooby Doo. But
Right.
anyway, yeah,
But that was the inspiration for this.
yeah, exactly. Is this the scene too when the shark splits him in half and his legs twitching afterwards
Yes.
too?
Yeah.
That part I thought was would that happen? I wonder. Because I know like sometimes like you get like in animals and stuff like that, and one in humans too. You'll get like basically aftershocks where they'll still be twitching after
Right.
like they're dead basically.
Right.
But I would think it would have to be connected to the brain in order for it to happen. So for like your leg to keep kicking after you're dead, I don't know if that would, or after you're split in half, I don't think that would happen.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it was just the waves of the water.
We'll ask a doctor. We'll get a doctor on next time.
All right, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hey, and we're back.
And we're back. Doctor said it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So.
I am not sitting in the oldest chair in the world. It just sounds like
Yes.
it. By the way. It's
So-
the second oldest chair in the world.
Carter.
Very comfy though.
Carter escapes. The ginger is eaten and fried to death.
Fried. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. With all the electrical.
So yeah. So now we're back in McAllister's office, which is probably your favorite scene. We get a good fake out. So her office is underwater. We should just mention, we haven't mentioned, but this, if you haven't seen this movie, pretty much every time we talk about something, it's almost always underwater.
Or at least half in the
It's
water.
not like the sharks are just walking in dry hallways.
They are. It's
Yeah.
like that shark in that cartoon movie. Or that cartoon from like the 70s. Remember that? Where the shark's walking around? I'm going to have to find it.
Are you talking about the SNL sketch?
No. Okay,
all right.
There's another one. You keep talking. I'll
Okay,
find it.
so McAllister, she goes into her office and it's underwater. We get a good fake out with the model shark. We see a shark stalking her, but it turns out to be the model shark from earlier, which then leads quickly to the attack of an actual gin.
I was thinking of Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw. Okay.
Do you remember Jabberjaw?
I do remember Jabberjaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. She climbs up on a shelving unit that's barely out of the water.
Yeah.
The shark easily could have grabbed her.
Yeah.
But instead is just ramrodding the shelf.
That's because the shark's like a serial killer. Or like a serial killer in movies. He's just playing with him.
So then we
Could be
get
anytime.
the second most famous scene from this movie, the underwear scene.
Should be the famous scene.
Okay, the reasoning behind it is sound, right? Like because she grabs, she's going to shock the shark.
Yes.
She wants to put her rubber wetsuit on.
So
but
she's not standing on something metal.
But she's wearing rubber aqua socks.
Well, the suit is soaked with water,
Right.
which conducts electricity. Everything's soaked. She's soaked with water. That honestly, I wish I would have watched this movie when I was 10 because
she does look
attractive.
Good. She does look good in underwear.
Yeah.
She was really pissed off. I read in Fangoria magazine. She was really pissed off about that scene because that wasn't originally in the movie.
She wasn't supposed to do that.
She wasn't supposed to take her clothes off. But the director and the producers wanted a little more action for the teen audience, the teen boys audience, so they had her do that. Well, her friend was the writer or producer. I can't remember which one. And she refused to talk to him for years.
After that?
But then she starred in one of his movies later on in life called Perfect Creature, and they kind of made up. But
and he's like, so just take your clothes off.
But man, she was in that article. Man, she was livid.
That's funny because like you would think she would just be like, I'm not doing it. Like I'm not. Like who holds the cards in that situation? Because if the actor's like, I'm not going to do it, I would think the actor would. Because if the actor's going to say like, I'm not doing that, and I'll walk off the set right now.
Well, it depends on how much of the movie. If it's like the third day, they're like, yeah, go. We'll get someone else.
We'll get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
We'll get Selma Hayek, who's in.
We'll get Selma Hayek
to do it. Yeah.
We'll put you in the beginning of the movie. And so anyway. So she takes her wetsuit off, nice underwear. Mine would be covered in brown and yellow stains.
Yeah, so would mine. Yeah.
She stands on top of her rubber wetsuit, pulls out a light fixture. Okay, that's 125 max.
Here's maintenance Adam coming in.
That's 125 max, dude. I understand the sharks in water.
Yeah, but
come.
Okay, so here's the thing I wanted to bring up, and I really want to ask like someone about this sometime. So, like, say if you have like electrical shocks in the water, or like a problem, because like if you have a short on a dock, it could electrify people in the thing. How far does that go out though?
Well, see, that's the misnomer of like water.
Electricity and water.
Water conducts electricity, but it's not a good conductor,
right?
Because it spreads it out.
Yeah.
Whereas like a copper wire is direct.
It takes you directly there.
So
dispersion.
I wouldn't think it would have a big.
But like
depending on the amount,
kids will die from like being shocked on like pools and stuff like that. That's what makes me wonder. Like,
but how big's the pool and how close to?
Okay, so like some of these ones are like kids that'll be swimming near docks that don't have this ground interrupter thing, and the kids will get electrocuted and die in the water, and things like that. Or like the pools. I can't remember. It's a movie with Matt Damon in it, where his kid dies in a pool in like Syria or something like that. He gets like electrocuted. I don't know, but anyway. It's like same kind of thing, but like that stuff happens. That's what makes me wonder, like how far out can you go? Like say if we cut like a giant power line that goes over a river, if that falls in the river, like if someone's like a mile downstream, will they still get electrocuted?
A mile? I don't think a mile. I think it would.
But like how far out would you have to go to still get electrocuted by that? Makes me wonder.
Okay, we'll be right back. We're gonna call Amron.
Yeah,
and we're back. They told us never to call.
Yeah, they said don't call us.
Unless we had an emergency.
We're not gonna give up. That's classified.
Yeah, that's classified. Okay, so. The shark's dead. I'm assuming she puts her wetsuit back on.
So she hold on, back it up. You're saying that electric thing wouldn't be enough to shock somebody?
125?
Yeah,
I've been shocked by 125.
Was that one time? Okay, so Adam and I used to work at the same place together,
right.
And he was a maintenance man there. And I remember one time you were changing light bulbs, like industrial light bulbs, and you said it started vibrating.
Yeah,
and you like it was basically the beginning of you getting electrocuted.
Yeah,
right?
So
he's standing on like a scissor lift.
So it grabbed me in my and this had okay. So the way I talk about it's very poetic and dramatic. It happened in probably a split of a second. So I had to rewire the ballast, and I'm putting the shield back up over top the ballast. And there's a wire sticking out, so I stick my hands in there to put the wire back in there. And apparently I didn't get all the wire nut on the one wire or something. But so I feel my finger. Like I said, this probably happens in a matter of a second, right?
Yeah.
So I feel I'm like, wow, my finger is really hot. And then I'm like, my finger is like tingling. And then I can feel my finger moving.
Oh.
And then I can feel the tingling sensation going down my arm. And then, like I said, it's all happened in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And then my legs give out. And luckily, my legs give out.
So you didn't electrocute
that my body weight caused my arm to pull itself away from the source.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have grabbed me and probably not let go.
Yeah.
Let go of me. Because it also happened to me. I was at my current job. I was working on a PTAC, and like a dumbass, I didn't unplug it. And
no one knows what a PTAC is, by the way.
It's those air conditioners that go inside the walls.
Yeah.
And like hotel rooms.
Yeah.
And so I had the guts out, still had it plugged in. That's 220 going on, and they've got like little what's transistors, I think is the right word, and my
Mexican radios.
Yeah, and my side of my finger hits the metal prong.
Yeah,
and it just instantly just shoots up my arm into my chest, and I go fuck, and I yanked it like, oh my god,
that's
that
crazy.
sucked. Yeah.
So did, like, when you were a kid, did you ever stick your fingers in the outlet?
Not that I'm aware of.
I think I did it once, like at a friend's house, because like, boom, and like I've touched like electric fences before and got shocked by those, and those give you a pretty good jolt, but it's like enough to be like annoying to where it just hurts.
Right.
And then the other one I've done was like, I really hate static electricity, so I get to the point now, like, where in the winter I'll just like, it's usually when I grab a door handle, but I try not to grab a door handle with the fleshy thing. So like now I just get to the point to where I like fist bump everything I touch, because then if I shock on the knuckles, it doesn't hurt as much as like the fleshy bits.
I hate static electricity. It doesn't hurt, but it's more of the shock value.
It's the scared. It's the scared. Shock value of it. We got way up. So anyway, that wouldn't be enough to electrocute a shark.
I wouldn't, even if it's in the water. I wouldn't think so.
That's a big cable though. But it's only 125 going through that?
Well, yeah, you're not going to pump 220 into a small 60-watt light bulb.
No, it wasn't going into the light bulb. It was going into like it was one of those pieces that had like the big metal thing covering it over it.
The conduit, yeah. Wasn't that going into the light bulb?
No, I think it was going into like one of those electrical box things.
Oh, well, all right. I take it
we're
back.
We're not, by the way, this went way off track to talk about electricity and wiring. And
the most unrealistic.
That's unrated. That stuff doesn't work. Okay. But anyway, very good scene.
Okay, so McAllister kills a shark. Tally, that leaves 3 humans alive: Carter, Preacher, and McAllister.
Several humans dead.
1 Jen left alive.
The main one. I like how it always ends up that way. It's like the kid can kill the big one first, and then get the 2 smaller ones. It's always like it's like a boss fight. In a video game, we're gonna kill these 2 smaller ones, and then
it's the way of nature.
Right.
Okay, so then we're flowing to the climax. We're at the escape. Okay, they're in the emergency hatch. The plan is to fill the room to equalize the pressure. Open the hatch. Use fire extinguishers tied to life jackets as decoys, and swim 60 feet to the surface. Mm-hmm. Carter makes the statement that sharks are attracted to movement and color. That's not correct, right? They're not attracted to color. I mean, they are super sharks, so maybe.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, they know that, like, I think it's more shape than anything, because they tend to attack things that look like turtles or like, seals swimming, that kind of stuff. I don't think so.
So you're standing in this room. It's filling up with water. On the other side of the hatch is an 8,000-pound genetically altered mako shark. Gary, what is going through your head?
So I brought this up before in like other movies and stuff like that. I feel like I would have offed myself way before any of this other stuff happened. Because like Red Dawn, you've seen Red Dawn, right?
I have not.
Okay, so basically it's a movie like the Russians attack.
Right.
It's like World War III, and the Russians basically have already won, right?
Right.
Well, they're taking over. And they like actually shoot up a school and all that stuff too. It's actually fucked up. But like, I've told friends before, I was like, the part where they're loading you into the trucks and taking you out for the concentration camp and all that stuff like that, I would have just jumped off the truck and just let them like riddle me with bullets. I'm like, fuck this. Yeah. Like, I think I'd have just been like, nah, I don't want to live. That's all right. I don't want to go through that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, that's what's going through your mind.
I'm going, man, it's fucking Thomas Jane next to
me. Just slowly,
there's no way I would make it. I would have been dead way before that. Because I would have done something fucking stupid.
Here's what I think you would have happened. You would have started like, all right, let's go. And then you would have went the wrong way. Oh, shit. Oh, we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
I know we're going that way.
No, I would have been dead a long time ago.
See, I thought they were using the fire. I was like kind of like not paying attention at this point, I don't think. Because I thought they were going to use the fire extinguishers to like shoot them up.
Well, they talked about, because Carter said if you go up too quickly, that,
the bends will hit you.
Okay, so the decoys work. They make it to the surface. LL is dragged away quickly by the shark. He uses his crucifix to stab it in the eye, which apparently is a legit tactic.
There was like a bunch of theories about that. Like there used to be a theory like if they punch in the nose, it'll go away.
But that's according to Laura Croft.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She fought sharks?
Yeah, in one of the video games.
Oh, okay.
And in the second movie.
A lot of people say if it's attacking you, punching you in the eye, or punching it in the eye. Not it's punching you in the eye. That'd be fucked up. Just to get you down. That'll get it to stop attacking. But I don't know how true that is either.
Plus, I don't know how good. I don't know how your mindset would be like, okay, I'm being eaten by this animal. Let me
do this.
Yeah. I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm being eaten by an animal.
Well, the power of Christ compels him.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say that during that?
No. Does he?
I think he's like, as he's yelling it, he's like, the power of Christ compels you. Because it just reminded me of The Exorcist.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I'll check this. There's a lot of rewatching on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so LL, he's passed out in up on the structure. It's just Carter and McAllister. Carter claims the sharks herded the crew to where they needed to be, forcing them to flood the facility, causing the fence to sink. So the sharks wait, I'm going to read this, and I hope you participate. So he says, causing the fish to sink so the sharks could reach the deep blue sea.
Ding.
Roll credits.
No, that's it. Roll credits. Yeah.
So anyway, this makes them out to be even more Bond villains.
So first off, the fact that the sharks have enough cognitive ability to know that the bottom fence is made out of titanium, but the top fence is just made out of regular steel. Apparently, sharks know metal types now.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Plus, they're super sharks. Why don't they just fucking jump?
Jump over the top. Yeah, exactly.
Free Willy style.
Exactly. So then you're saying the sharks know that. You're saying the sharks have enough cognitive ability to just be able to get you to flood a facility in order to sink it. It's like the sharks suddenly went from like, I kill this because it moves, to cognitive ability and a lot in structural engineering.
James Bond villain, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Carter comes up with a plan. He takes apart some flares and creates makeshift sticks of dynamite. Is that legit?
Probably not.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there is a part of a flare that's like an explosive charge a little bit.
Right.
Because that's what shoots it up in the air.
Okay.
Like certain flares.
Okay. He's going to harpoon the gin with the flares. The flares are attached to the rope on the harpoon. McAllister will be at the opposite end of the harpoon, the roped harpoon, where she's going to attach it to a battery terminal, causing the dynamite to explode.
Right.
That's the plan.
I like how much they bring up dynamite in this movie. Do you remember the part where she's the female scientist is talking about like, they're really smart creatures and stuff like that, and he's like, how many sticks of dynamite do you need to sit off around your head to get you to start thinking clearly? Foreshadowing, yeah. And the part where the flares are going up in the air and she's walking out, she's like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Right.
Foreshadowing. I'm telling you, this is like an experiment in like how many times can we foreshadow everything in this movie?
So the plan is quickly fucked. Carter can't make the shot, can't get the shot off. McAllister jumps in the water as a decoy to bring the shark back over. The shark approaches and then stops right in front of McAllister. She's waiting for her to stop.
No, she starts to get out, and it starts to attack her, but like the thing doesn't... Like, was she trying to kill herself and then like had second thoughts?
No, she was trying to...
lure it.
Well, two things might happen. She may have just trying to be a decoy and hoping Carter was going to kill it before it got there.
Yeah.
Or she was really... like legitimately trying to sacrifice herself, and then saw the shark turn around. She's like, "Oh, fuck."
That's what I thought. I thought she was trying to kill herself.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, she's like, I'm ready to die. She sees the shark. She's like, all right, fuck that. Let's go. Get out of here.
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
No. So if you go the
shark stops.
The shark stops and waits for Carter to jump into the water.
It's like he wanted it to see that he's going to kill it.
It's like super shark.
Yeah, but it's like he knows that like. It's like the shark knows that Carter's somewhat kind of romantically involved with this chick and kind of likes her. Yeah. And so he like waits for her to get in the water and like in the sea, and then he just rips her apart. Yeah,
the shark's like, right before I eat you, I'm going to emotionally fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like so bizarre. Like, why would you do that?
So then
she gets ripped in half.
No, she gets eaten whole, man.
No, I thought she got ripped in half.
She gets chopped down.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, munched up. Okay, so McAllister's gone. It's just Preacher, Carter, and Jin 1. The Jin attacks Carter. Carter uses shark foo once again, foreshadowing from earlier, to escape and goes for a ride holding the shark fin. The passed out LL wakes up and shoots a harpoon, hitting the shark, but also Carter. Carter is ripped from the shark after it breaks through the fence. LL ignites the dynamite, and the final Jin is killed.
Because he's like sitting there thinking, like, do I set this off while this? It's like the classic, like, it reminds me a lot of what's the one where it's got like Roadrunner.
Wile E. Coyote.
And Wile E. Coyote.
Right.
Like, he's like, well, do I blow this up? And like the spool's going out and things like that. So like, wouldn't Thomas Jane have like severe injuries from like being attached to the shark with a harpoon and then hitting that fence so hard?
Well, first of all, your answer will always be it's Thomas Jane, so no.
And he's like, oh fuck, and he gets caught. Or like, I would imagine like he would get like ripped apart from hitting that fence, not like rip his leg out thing. And then like two, like, is the facility sunken enough now that it's hitting the fence? That's
hitting the standard fence.
Yeah. Well, I love the part too where like the shark's hitting the fence. So like, she cuts herself. This is a little bit before, but she cuts herself. The shark's like hitting the fence. And he's like, wait, I'm almost out, but let me go back and kill this bitch.
Wait, is that wine or blood? Because I really like that.
Like the
wine.
shark like wants to get out. It's like almost through, and it like stops and like you would see a normal villain do, and like not a shark, just stops and like turns his head and looks back and like, oh, I'm gonna go kill this bitch.
Right.
Like, it's just this is so bizarre.
It turned into your typical villain, man.
So then he blows up the shark.
Blows up shark.
Like at the last few seconds, by the way. Where was the dynamite? Was it attached to the harpoon?
It was attached to the harpoon. Yeah.
Okay, so he was like deciding I shouldn't do this.
Right, instead of where the tranquilizer was,
dynamite
was, yeah.
That's a giant explosion for like 3 flares worth of TNT.
Well, he said it equal. He said this. Carter said this will probably give us about 2 sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, that's still a lot. It seemed weird. Like, it was very strange to me that I was like, I mean, it's that kind of movie, but it was like very strange to be like, what the fuck is going on?
To bring up your question, even if Carter survived the harpoon through the leg, the harpoon being ripped out because it's got the reverse barb on it, and survived being smashed up against the fence, the implosion would have turned his internal organs.
Well, I think that's why they had it swim out far enough to do that. But yeah, you're right. It just like the way that movie ended was just like very like, okay, that's all right.
So the final scene is Carter and Preacher. They're beat up and bloody. They're watching as the next shift pulls in.
Because they're wondering like, how the fuck are we gonna get like? Well, we killed the shark, but what the fuck do we do now?
It was kind of a funny joke. Carter had his feet dangling in the water, and
I love that because that's how the movie started. The movie started and ended the same way.
What do you mean?
With the person's foot dangling in the water, and they're worried about sharks.
Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough. Mm-hmm. It's all
comes back. Foreshadowing.
And I kind of liked it because Preacher's like, "Hey man, there are 3 sharks, right?" And Carter's like,
he's like,
yeah, I think so."
He's like, you sure? He's like, and then he pulls his foot out of the water. Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote Finn as a little joke. That's French for in. Fiend.
Pronounced.
Shut up. So what were your thoughts? Did it hold up for you from your initial watching back in 1999?
Okay, here's the thing. I thought this. I don't know where this got mixed up in my head, but for the longest time, I thought Deep Blue Sea was a movie about a cruise ship sinking and sharks attacking people inside the cruise ship.
Oh, that's the porn parody.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Oh. But anyway, I swear there's a movie that's like that where the shark's swimming down like halls and stuff. Like, I couldn't find it when I looked it up.
Is it Bait? Maybe.
I don't know, but like ahead. I swear I saw a movie like that. But like some of the scenes from that matched up with what happened in this movie. That's what made me like threw me off. But I swear there's one where it's like swimming down the thing, and I don't know. But like that's what I thought it was. But like it was just like I took it as seeing it now as like this is one of those typical 90s action movies that has to do with like animals or stuff like that. You know, and that it's kind of messed up. A lot of it's cheesy. A lot of cheesy stuff happens, and at the end, you know, it's just like everything happy at the end.
Are you thinking of Deep Rising about the giant like squid tentacle?
That might be it actually. And I must have just thought it was
it's got Treat Williams takes Famke Janssen.
I think I am thinking about Deep Rising.
Jet ski and they shoot out.
But they're in like they're on a ship, right?
Yeah, big old cruise.
Yeah. Cruise I think that's what it is, but I didn't know it was a squid.
Well, I mean, it's like an H.P. Lovecraft style tentacle monster.
See, I thought it was I thought there were sharks in that movie, but maybe not.
Okay.
I think that is what it is. Now I know.
Okay, before we get to our rating of the flick, I got some.
What did you think of it, though?
Well, hang on.
Okay.
We'll get to some closing facts about the film. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Director Rennie Harlan has stated that this was the hardest flick he's ever made.
Why?
He didn't say. I'm assuming probably water scenes. But up to that point, he had made Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, Cutthroat Island, and Long Kiss Goodnight.
Of those, probably what? Cliffhanger being the most popular one?
Die
Hard 2,
Nightmare on Elm Street 4 was popular. Die Hard 2, yeah, I don't know.
Die Hard 2 is not my favorite Die Hard. It's my least favorite Die Hard.
I would have thought Cliffhanger would have been harder to make.
I would have thought so too. Because it's like Stallone on the side of a mountain.
Cutthroat Island is considered the worst movie ever made. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have to watch that.
This was Thomas Jane's breakout role.
Really?
Yeah, okay. he was like the indie movie darling up until that point. Neither of the two supposed heroes of the movie kill any sharks. Sam Jackson, Thomas Jane, they kill no sharks.
Why are they considered movie heroes though? Why are they?
Because they're kind of set up to be the hero.
Oh yeah, Thomas Jane doesn't kill any sharks. That's right.
LL Cool J.
Well, no, he kills the one at the end. Oh, technically he doesn't.
LL Cool J kills 2. Saffron Burrows kills 1.
Yeah, that's right. He does kill 2 sharks.
Yeah.
Legendary shark killer.
Okay, so you asked about my. Okay, so I enjoy the flick. I initially did and still do.
Yeah.
It's just a great, fun action horror disaster animal movie. If I catch it on TV, I'll watch it for a bit. If not, watch it all. Mm-hmm. I'll put it on when I'm working out. I don't have a problem with the super sharks. I buy into it. But if you're gonna have a movie with the super sharks and you set them up to be super sharks, you can't have them be dumb normal sharks when the plot needs it.
Yeah,
like
they can't just switch it off.
Like
if there's sharks that are smart enough to know that they need to sink a facility, collapse it so they can get over the fence and get out and get free. You can't have them be like, "Oh, do."
Like okay, so they know what a gun is.
Yeah.
They know what cameras do and are.
Yeah.
But they fall for a fire extinguisher floating in the water. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, exactly.
These, like I said, these are
fire extinguisher floating in water, and they fall for the old switcheroo on the scuba trick too.
Well, that's classic. You'll never not fall for that.
That's true.
That's scuba diving 101.
Fall for that.
So
it's like the bear scene in Black Dynamite, where he's dressed up as a bear. Remember that? Where he puts the bear on the couch. If you haven't seen Black Dynamite, go watch it. It's an amazing movie.
We'll finish this podcast and go watch it.
Yeah.
There's no way LL Cool J McAllister they would have been snapped up on those dresser or those shelving units barely out of the water. Because like I said, if they're smart enough to knock us, not only know what a sub is, knock it down so they can't use it.
Smash a helicopter into a tower.
A 2-foot shelving unit barely out of the water is not going to keep these sharks.
And the fact when LL Cool J gets to the other side and gets to the top oven part, and it's like the shark's still smashing the bottom one, I was like, well, you can see that he's doing that.
Yeah.
According to the vision they have.
Right.
It's right in their nose.
I don't really have a problem with the CG. It's a product of its time.
It's decent for that time period.
Yeah.
I mean, it had better CG than Dark Country. It's way better, and that was like 10 years later.
The only problem I have is we mentioned many times it's the scaling issue.
Yes,
they talk about how big they are, but you don't really get a sense of it. So,
or the times when they do give you a sense of it, they contradict it later.
Yeah, right.
Because when I was looking this up, I was looking up different other shark movies that were considered like the worst shark movies, and there's one of the Jaws ones, I think, or it's one of those ones that's on like maybe it's one of the Sharknado ones. Where they were talking about what's the one where the shark's like swimming around in the like swamp, killing people. I don't know. Oh no, it's called Ghost Shark. It was some video talking about like the movie Ghost Shark, right?
Right.
And they were talking about one of the big criticisms of it, besides the fact that it was a ghost shark.
Right.
Which, by the way, there's a scene in Ghost Shark, or maybe it was another one. But anyway, there's a scene in Ghost Shark where the guy drinks a little bit of water out of like a water jug, and the ghost shark comes out of him, like as he's sitting there in the office.
What?
Building. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Amazing. But anyway, it's in one of these scenes where they talk about one of the biggest complaints being the scaling of the sharks. Like, it's a shark big enough to eat a cruise ship, and then they show another scene where it's like eating like a little small boat, and it's the same size.
Right. Yeah.
But like, this movie has that problem too.
Right.
And I don't get why no one addresses that. Just bizarre. Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Because we're running a little long in the tooth here.
Long in the tooth. I thought it was good. But I feel like there's things that definitely could have been a lot better in it. But dang, we've been here that long. Dang.
Do you want to check your notes real quick for I asked you the 3 questions of this podcast?
Oh, I had one more thing. Let me see if I can find it. If you were in this situation, how would you want to go out?
Oh God, I'd want to die in a helicopter crash.
I think I would have too. Like I'd rather burn alive.
Or I want to be on the weekend crew the week crew that leaves during the weekend and comes back.
By the way, could you imagine being that crew and coming back and just seeing like, oh my God, what the hell happened here?
But so they can't be that far off the coast if they're only there for 5 days and they go home and come back.
Like small boat, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing too, this movie with the scenes towards the end reminded me a lot, but how it went from like light to from like darkness, complete darkness to like all of a sudden it's like midday.
Right.
That part cracked me up. And then also, this reminded me a lot of Waterworld-ish. And I don't think I've ever seen Waterworld completely. I think I've just seen some of the previews and stuff like that for it. But it reminded me of like once they get to the top and everything's destroyed, it reminded me a lot of Waterworld.
Oh, yeah, okay. I can see that. Fair enough.
Weird. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Gary, 3 questions.
Uh-huh. If
you weren't doing this podcast, would you have seen this flick, which you did?
Yes.
Would you watch it again? And would you recommend this flick?
Would you watch it again? Question is probably a bad one for me because most movies I would never watch again after I've seen it once.
Fair enough.
So this one probably not, unless it was to check up on some of those things like the arm position and like a couple of those other things. I would probably go back and watch parts of it to see it again.
Okay.
And then what was the last one? What would I rate it?
Would you recommend this?
Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would recommend it.
It's kind of a rough question because I'm the dude you'd probably recommend it to.
No, I would recommend it to other people.
Okay, all right.
I would say, yeah, watch it. It's worth it. Worth your time.
Okay. So here at Jane's Got a Pod, we have a rating system out of 4, but we do it different. We give it a Jane rating. If it's a 4 out of 4, it's a full-on Jane. 3 out of 4, it's a Jan. 2 out of 4, it's a J. And if it's just a 1, it's a J.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary?
I already know what you're going to give it.
Oh, you know.
And I'm going to give it a Jane, too.
You're giving it a full-on Jane?
I'm giving it a Jane.
We're both going full-on Jane.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I think because it's just it's a good movie. The CGI wasn't terrible. Given there's no criteria for this rating system, so it literally doesn't matter. But the CGI wasn't terrible. There was parts in it where you can like, oh yeah, that's believable. So I give it a Jane, full Jane.
I give it a full Jane. It was my first introduction to Thomas Jane. I didn't really know who he was, but it made me want to watch the rest of his movies and maybe become a fan of his. I enjoyed his character a lot. I wish I was as cool as that fucking character. It's awesome. It's just an awesome, fun flick. It's shut your brain off, do laundry while you're watching.
Yeah. So, question on the Thomas Jane thing: did you know his birthday before you watched this movie?
No.
So this was like got you into it?
No. Okay, so what happened was I'd watched this movie and I was a wannabe stuntman. So this movie. And his character is involved in a lot of stunts. So when I would reenact the stunts, I was always him. So then he ended up being the Punisher. So I ended up just following him. And then one day I was on Internet Movie. I was on one day I was on Internet Movie Database, and I had noticed that they did birthdays. And then like my birthday was the following month. Mm-hmm. And so I had been a fan of Thomas Jane for a couple years at this point.
Yeah.
So my birthday was the following month. And I looked it up. And I was like, fuck, this Thomas Jane's on my birthday. Yeah. So that made me like him even more.
Wow.
So
this was longer than the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah. And yes, it was. And that's why on my birthday, except for this year, because I did this podcast, I always watch a Thomas Jane movie.
Yeah. This time we talked about a Thomas Jane movie.
Any final thing before I do the closing?
Nope.
Okay, because we went long here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this has been Jane's Got a Pod. If you like this episode and you like Thomas Jane, then please check out upcoming episodes. Or if you like Gary Davis, please check. My plan is to go through, well, I guess technically our plan is to go through his entire filmography. I'm not sure if we're going to do this 1 episode a month or 2 a month, just whenever me and Gary can get together. We live in different towns. If you have a particular film you want to talk about, or you want to know more about Thomas Jane, or if you're Thomas Jane himself, please email the show at janegotapod@gmail.com. Please check out my other podcasts in the DCP universe, Damage Control Podcasting, weekly show I do with Daniel, Tyler, and Cody, We talk about the conventions, ideas, and genres of filmmaking. We also did a commentary for this movie, so check that out. You can find that show and this show on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, as well as Twitter. Gary, I'm going to leave us with a dramatic reading from LL Cool J's masterpiece, Deepest Bluest.
But is this the song that he made out of this?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Because I was going to comment on this too. I actually forgot about this part.
Right.
The song he sings at the end of this is like it's like things you don't see in movies anymore. So there's two things. One, there's not really a full soundtrack made from movies anymore. I feel like that are actually like they try to turn them and be hits.
Right.
And then two, like this would have been a perfect game, I think, for like, you know how they used to make video games based off of movies?
Oh yeah, this would have been a perfect.
This would have been the best one they've ever done.
You could take scenes right out of the movie.
Yeah, and they didn't do it. Like you said, the platforming thing, that could have easily been a scene.
Oh yeah.
Like all that stuff could have easily been that. But yeah, I knew you were gonna bring this up because this song is something else.
So I leave you.
This is the song that starts when the credits roll.
My hat is like a Sharks fan. Deepest Bluest. I'm going to do a dramatic reading from LL Cool J's masterpiece, Deepest Bluest. I'm going to read the first verse, lyrics. Man-made terror, hungry jaws of death. Y'all don't cross my depths, I'll pause your breaths.
Right?
Thank you. I'm trying. I cause you to sink down 40,000 leagues, bleeding to death with no arms and short sleeves. My hat is like a shark's fin.
My head is like a shark's fin.
Deepest Bluest.
So watching the credits on a lot of these too, he has a lot of the songs in this. He made like 3 or 4 songs for this movie.
I'm telling you, I wonder if that shot was just like a friendly joke or if he really shot, in that party scene.
Yeah, that's a good question.
All right.